You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you triathlon studs and studettes. This is Coach Brett with another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon. Hey, on this show, we have some huge Ironman industry news, lots of changes to races and pro payouts, and just a whole lot of stuff going on, and we'll talk about that. And then also, we have a whole bunch of other news and cool things that are going on. And I read some emails and answer some questions about training tips and nutrition and so forth. And then I bring you the training log. It's over 2 hours of me taking you with me while I train to give you tips and methods on how to do all kinds of things. And in particular on this show, I talk a lot about habits, how to create habits, how to make habits stick, how the brain works with getting things done. It's really cool. Whole lot of cool stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the news. Oh wait, I forgot. Every few episodes, I've realized I need to reintroduce myself for the new listeners, who I am. I'm a 41-year-old Brett Blankner. And I'm an all-world ranked Ironman. I'm in the top 10% in half and full Ironman distances. And I've even knocked out a 4 hour and 40-minute half Ironman in Galveston. And I've done 13 full Ironmans. 9 of these have been self-supported, where I go out and do an Ironman on my own and then raise money for charity for March of Dimes and such. And those are actually the most fun and the most difficult, because you got to do your own aid stations, your own everything. It's really cool. And we're doing one of those this fall. It's called the Iron Baby, and I encourage you to come. And I've qualified for nationals in the Olympic distance age group multiple times, and even went and did one in Vermont. That was crazy race. And I've swam across Lake Tahoe from south to north, which is 22 miles at 6,200 feet. Again, swam 22 miles, which is a little bit longer than the English Channel, at 6,000 feet elevation, and I did it in about 13 hours, and that was one of the coolest things that I've done. And that comes from a background of being a swim team captain in high school. And also I do ultra marathons, mostly on trails. 50 milers, I've gotten it down 9 hours and change range. And then I've even done a 100 miler. I've tried 2, completed 1, and they are tough things. And I've swam from Alcatraz to shore as part of the Alcatraz triathlon, and then of course finished out the rest of the race. And then I've been a USAT certified coach 2 times, and I still coach. And I think I just filled my last spot for a little while, but I coach the polarized method, which is really cool stuff. And I do all this while holding down a full-time job, being married, and a dad to a very active 9-year-old. And on the side of all that, I help out with Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts as an assistant scoutmaster. And also I have been a soccer coach 2 years in a row, I think, and then also help out with soccer on Kai's soccer team. So lots of stuff there. A little side note there is I used to be pretty bad at triathlon back when I started off, and I just worked at it over time. So that just goes to show that there's hope for all of us. Everybody can get faster with some dedication and some work and time management. All right, let's go ahead and get to the news, brought to you by CompeteHub.com. And we'll talk more about Compete Hub when we're done here. On the flip side of the news, there are some huge changes in the pro purse for Ironman World Championships, regional championships, Ironman races in general. And if we go over to the Slow Twitch article, there's 2 big things. There's the thing about the prize purses, and then there's the the starting waves at Kona. But anyway, Ironman is going to do automatic qualifications for Kona for pros if they win one of the regional championships. So there's the Latin American championships. There's that's in Brazil. There's the North American championships, which looks like it might be Texas next year. European championships in Frankfurt, and Asia Pacific championships in Melbourne, Australia. And they will have $150,000 purses that pay 10 deep. And then there will be the elimination of the pro fields at a whole bunch of other races. I'm looking at all other events, such as Ironman Louisville, Wisconsin, and Lake Placid will feature age group fields only. So I'll put a link to this on the blog, ZenTriathlon.com. A lot of people have been, this is a tough situation to describe. Ironman's trying to expand their brand, so they have so many races now, like 39 or something, just Ironmans. And you end up with them not being able, it's really expensive to put on an Ironman, and only so many people can sign up. It's not like a half marathon where, how many people sign up for the Boston Marathon, right? Like tens of thousands. Well, in an Ironman, you can only sign up like 2,000 or 3,000 people. And then it's way bigger of investment, time, and routing, and having to deal, because of the 112-mile bike ride and the swim, of having to get it pulled off. It costs a whole lot more money for them to pull it off. So they're not as profitable as a marathon, for example, or a half marathon, or even a 5K, it seems like. So they end up with not as much prize money to pay athletes. So they're trying this thing out where to get pros, to get a deeper prize purse, they're going to pay at specific races, and then other races have no prize purse. You can kind of see they shift the money around and pay bigger and deeper at the regional championships and then some other races. And somebody pointed out on Twitter that actually on occasion, because the races are so diluted now with so many races, and then only so many people, so many pros showing up to race them, that sometimes they'll pay 8 deep, right? And there will only be 7 pros showing up. And I think that's usually in the women's field. So that's interesting. And if you've been listening to podcast episodes lately, I'm very interested in the pros making a living off of this. So I'm not exactly sure how this will pan out, if it's good or bad. It's just a thing. So we'll find out more as this goes on. And then, this is something I do like. They're talking about the women's age group will have a separate start from the men's age group at Kona. Instead of having this massive swim start, they're now going to break it up into 4 waves. They have male pro, and then a little while later, female. So wait, they've got it listed on here. Men pro at 6:25, pro women at 6:30. This is in Hawaii. And men's age group at 6:50, women's age group at 7 a.m. And I'm actually a big fan of the swim not being so congested, and whatever it takes to get the swim to be broken up so people aren't getting hurt and slamming into each other and punched in the face as much during the swim start. I'm a perfectly capable swimmer, and as you'll hear in the podcast, and I'm very, very comfortable in open water and rough water. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. And I get really annoyed at the ridiculousness of the congestion of the swim start and the aggressiveness that's going on in there. And you're out there as a physical test. Really, it's you against yourself. And you're trying to have the best day you can, and then compare your best day to other people's best days. And the aggressiveness in getting punched and kicked, and people really getting hurt, and also some people having heart attacks from the stress of the swim is too much. I don't like it. So I'm a fan of them breaking up the swim, like rolling starts and these other things that they're trying to do. And I know some people aren't. I think they're hung up on they want the classic race that they've seen in the posters, and I'm just not there with that. But I have an idea. Morgan and I were talking about this one time on the podcast, and Ironman ought to, and I tweeted this at the Ironman CEO, and Ironman ought to put on swim qualifier events all around the country, charge for it, make money off of it, and then turn this money around and give it to the pro prizes to help pay for pro prizes. And if you haven't ever done an Ironman before, then, or let's say even a half Ironman, if you haven't done a half or done a full before, or then you need to go to one of these swim events that they put on, and they time you to swim open water, and I guess maybe a pool, I don't know. But they time you, and then over a long distance, like, a mile or two, 2.4, I don't know. But then they time you, and then now you've proven that you can do a swim. And you don't need to do this if you've done one before, but you've proven you can do the swim, and also you have a seed time for your race, and then when they do a rolling start, you get put in a corral, right? And for example, I've done a 59-minute Ironman swim at my last Ironman, and therefore I should be put in the 59-minute seed corral, rolling start roll, and then and then people feel safer that they know they can do the swim. They've done this an open water swim before, and Ironman can charge $50 to $100 to get it done, and now you're qualified for 2 years or 3 years or something like that. How about that? All right, let's go on to some other news. Brett Sutton, who's a infamous, I'll put it that way, triathlon coach. He was Chrissy Wellington's coach, Jody Swallow's coach. He's a famous, famous coach. And he posted online this really cool swim video. And I'll put it on the blog, and you can watch it there. And where he's going over the 3 R's, and I'll get to that in a second. But the swim, he's just on the deck yelling at the swimmers. And I grew up on swim teams, and I got to tell you, the best swim coaches are ones that are pissed off. The ones that are yelling at the swimmers and pacing back and forth and waving their arms all over the place. I swear, those are the coaches that you want. Those are the ones that get results. And gosh, one of my high school swim team coaches was just so angry all the time, and he's the one that got the most results out of me. Had another swim team coach that yelled at us that we weren't swimming fast enough, and then he got in and swam to show us, in his clothes. He got in and swam and was yelling at us to swim this way. It just goes on and on. So that first, you got to see it for that. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, this okay, I get Brett Sutton. This is really cool. And then the thing that he's talking about in the swim video is really helpful to a lot of people. It's the 3 R's, and I put this to work on my bike ride this morning because a lot of these things are translatable to different sports. And he was saying rhythm first. When you swim, the first thing you ought to do is get into a rhythm, and a rhythm that you can hold, right? Then work on being relaxed, because if you can't relax while you're doing that rhythm, then you won't be able to sustain it for a mile or two, 2.4. And then after those two things, and only after those two things, then maybe work on your reach. So rhythm, relax, then work on reach. Anyway, it's a really good video. Go check it out on ZenTriathlon.com. And also, I've been following the Boulder Triathlon. And this is a really good example of what I was talking about in the news, where they're considering, well, they're saying that they're not going to have pro fields in certain races now. They're having an Ironman in in Boulder, Colorado, the mecca of triathlon in North America and in the world pretty much. And we have pros living in Boulder from Australia, from Europe, everybody that's anybody. I've been to Boulder just to go see it because it's such a scene. And the pro field is just, I mean, it's good, but it's like, it's not the huge depth and the big names that you would expect. And it's probably because they are resting for Kona. So that's why they have a problem with some of these races with pros not showing up. And so I think Boulder is on the list for them not to have a pro field next year. So, okay, but anyway, the results for today, the first ever Boulder Ironman is Justin Daer, and it's Daerr, I think. Anyway, he won in 8 hours and 20 minutes. I was showing that to Kai. We were watching him cross the finish line live on the finish line feed. And Kai was like, wow, Daddy, he's so much faster than you. I was like, yeah, that's awesome, man. But maybe someday you could be that fast, You go win it for me. Anyway, he did the swim in 50 minutes and 21 seconds. He did the bike in 4 hours and 24 minutes. And then he did the marathon in 3 hours flat, 3 hours and 11 seconds for a total time of 8:20. And then Danielle Kehoe won in 9 hours and 19 minutes and 54 seconds with a 1 hour and 3 minute swim. So you don't have to be like a crazy fast swimmer. 1 hour and 3 minutes is attainable for a lot of people. A 4:53 bike split, and then a 3 hour and 16 minute and 42 second marathon. That's crazy. It's amazing. Okay, now let's go on to some nutrition news. I was listening to This Week in Paleo, which is a podcast, which is, I mean, it's paleo heavy, but what I really like is the host isn't convinced that there's only one way to do it, and he talks about that a lot. So he talks about different things that are being discovered. It's kind of like science, just learning as you go. And the interesting tidbit, and I think it's at about 33 minutes in, is where he's talking about a study about people eating more because they exercise, that moving in general is what we used to do all the time, and that exercise is actually something we have to do because we're so sedentary all the time, and that's really unfortunate. That actually we're built to be moving all the time, and sitting at a desk job and stuff and sitting in traffic is really bad for us. And this is really cool. They took two different groups, told the first group that they were going to go for a scenic walk, and they walked, I think it was around 2 miles or something like that. I don't even think it was 2 miles, like 1.5 miles maybe. And then, told them it was a scenic walk, and but measured their pace and kept them on track, but they didn't know it. And then they took a second group and told them that they were going to exercise walk, and walked them at the exact same pace as the first group. And then while they were walking, said things like, all right, everybody, only 1 mile to go, so it was more like exercise in appearance. So the exact same pace, exact same distance. They fed them lunch afterwards, and the group that thought it was exercise ate 35% more dessert than the group that thought it was just a scenic walk. So the problem is compensation. People have an illusion that when they're exercising, that they need to compensate for that exercise with more calories. And it helps explain the problem where people exercise but don't seem to lose weight or enough weight, and sometimes put weight on. And you should change your mindset that you're actually just moving. This is what you do, and don't try to compensate for what you did with calories. And then there was an article that was in Google News earlier today that modern man evolved away from having as much testosterone as we used to have. starting about 50,000 years ago, we've lost the amount of testosterone, and it's a sign that it allowed civilization to develop. So testosterone is a hormone that leads to a lot of aggression, a lot of risk-taking, a lot of fighting. And the cool thing about this was Zen is very much about using your evolved mind to analyze your problems instead of just reacting. The whole thing in Zen is to pause when you get a stimulus, and instead of stimulus response, you do stimulus pause, correct response, right? Well, if you've got a lot of testosterone, you don't do stimulus pause, you do stimulus punch. So it's really interesting. They said that because of this, it allowed civilization to develop. And so people out there, especially guys, if you want to be more civilized and get farther in life and be more stable and more there for your family and friends, it's proof that you should relax on the response and do a little bit of pause and think about things first. It's pretty cool. All right. Let's see. Should we talk about Compete Hub? I want to check. I've got show notes going in two different places. Let me make sure. Yeah, I think so. Should we do it? Oh, I'm looking at show note questions for Rich Roll that might be coming up pretty soon. We're going to record with him soon. Okay, let's talk about Compete Hub. CompeteHub.com is a really cool place to find races. I was just on it. I think you might have heard it the last podcast. I was there, and then I saw the Austin course in there. So it's a really cool place to go find races, whoever else is doing races. It's set up a little bit like Facebook, but I think smarter and better. And I was just on there and saw, there's like elevation profiles and all kinds of cool stuff. So, for example, one of the things I want to do when I train is I want to make sure I'm training with enough elevation gain to simulate the race in Austin, and this is really, really easy to do. And so I want you to go check out CompeteHub.com. They are a sponsor of the show. I've talked with them. I think we've interviewed them on the podcast, so they're a fan of the show, so give them your business. Try to use them to research races and give them some feedback on how it's going, okay? All right, let's read some emails and some donations. So you can actually help support the show by becoming a subscriber, which is less than $1 an episode. On ZenTriathlon.com, on the left-hand side, there's a place to set up a recurring donation, and it's $3.95 a month. And that's chump change, man. That's a piece of cake. You can sign up for that, no problem. And then also you can donate one-time donations, and that gives you a box to put in a question. And so you could do it either way. It's pretty cool. If you need to send me a question anyway and you're a donor, then you can send it to texifornia@gmail.com. And let's look up some of the donations and questions I've gotten this past week. Oh, I've got another piece of news. I knew there was something here. Ironman I heard this through the grapevine. At Ironman 70.3 Calgary, during the athlete briefing, they were advised that anyone who gets a drafting penalty will not be allowed to qualify for a world championship slot. That's awesome, man. That's a way to stop drafting, because drafting is the worst towards the front. That's where it matters the most. That's where it affects other people. And to say you get a drafting penalty, you're out of the world championship. I was like, oh, that is so cool, man. I love that. Okay, that's how you stop that crap. And then Ironman Lake Placid, the swim was canceled partway through, which really messed with a lot of people's times. But there was lightning and such. And then the first loop on the bike was really, really cold. And John Newman, a guy I coached, did that race. And he said it was so hard. He thought about quitting on the bike. And John Newman is a badass. So when he was thinking about, he said he was just shaking so bad that because he was so cold that If he had to do that any longer, he was worried that he was gonna have to quit. But then he toughed it out and actually had a pretty good race. I'm really proud of him. All right, donations. We've got Vince. Oh, and he's got some questions here. Okay. Oh, I'm reading. Sorry for the pause. Okay. Is it the Sunto Ambit 2S watch that you pimp all the time on your podcast? I can get a great deal on one. I'm inclined to do so since you are a relentless ambassador of whichever Ambit you use. I actually use the Ambit 2. The 2S is the slim version, and it has a little bit less battery life. And since I do full Ironmans and ultra running marathons, which I think the 100 miler that I did took 22 hours or so, and I go for the longest battery life that they make. Both of them are incredible watches, so you can't go wrong. And the Ambit 3 is actually coming out pretty soon, so you can get some really good deals on the Ambit 2, which is a wonderful watch. And I'm very, very happy with mine. I wear it all the time. And then, why are so many of the older podcasts constantly unavailable? I've been trying for months to download the episode about your trip to Boulder, but it's always temporarily unavailable. Full disclosure, I'm technologically moronic. Thanks, Vince. Okay, so this is the problem. I used to have all my podcasts hosted by Mevio, which, what did they used to be called? Anyway, and they went under. And they're actually a lot of the reason the podcast ever got started. So that's okay. But anyways, they went under, and all my episodes that were online went offline. So I've got all the episodes. They're on a hard drive, and I need to get some help getting these uploaded because it'd be actually faster for me to give them to somebody, and then somebody that wants to do it uploads these files, and then, but it gets so crazy with, it's really technical work, and if you don't do it just right, you can break a lot of stuff. So I don't know. I've gotten offers from a few people, and somebody just offered on Twitter to be my intern, and so I think we might do that, where I send him the files, and then he uploads them, and then maybe I edit the RSS feed. It's just the uploading just takes a long time. So, okay, then let's see. Let's move on to another question. We've got Alexa. Hi, Brett. I'm a new listener of your show, and I am hooked. I'm doing my first sprint try in August, and I look forward to many more. I especially love hearing about all the ways you make exercise fun for your son. You've inspired me to incorporate more into our family life, especially with my 4-year-old. In fact, she's excited about doing a kids try we have here in October with a 4/5-year-old race. I'd love to listen to more of your past episodes, but I'm having trouble downloading. Okay, that's the same thing. All right, so you got that. Also, do you have any advice for pacing a reverse sprint try? I'm just barely getting back into shape. Okay, so with a reverse sprint try, if you got to be careful because the swim is at the end, and there's a reason I think that they put swims at the beginning is because you're less likely to drown from exhaustion if they put the swim at the beginning. So that was the thing I would pay attention to the most. I would do the run pretty hard, and then use the coasting on the downhills of the bike to recover from the run and bike through it. And then by the time you finish up the bike, really blow out your legs because you're not going to use them again. And then on the swim, all right, I'll come to dinner in a second. Okay, I just got notice I got to go to dinner. And I'm in my pain cave training with the bike up on the trainer and the treadmill right in front of me. And the use up your legs completely by the end of the bike, and then you hit that swim, and then try not to use your legs at all, because you got to be careful if I've done the SOS triathlon at least twice, and there's you bike and then you run and then you hit that water. It's a 7-stage triathlon because then after you hit the water, you bike or you run some more and then you swim and then you run, swim, like that. I mean, it's nuts. And then run and uphill. And the people get just incredible leg cramps because their legs are tired and the water's cold. If the water's not cold, I wouldn't worry about the leg cramps as much. Be careful. And if it's a pool swim, always know that you can hang on the lane rope or walk on the bottom. So, but I would use my legs up as much as you feel safe doing, because then on the swim, you're mostly going to use your arms, and then try not to kick so much on the swim, and then that'll be good. And let's go. Tyler Moyer donated, and I always want to say Festus, and Spiros is, he's going to help my brother get a wetsuit, man. That is so cool. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. And he's up in the, I think he's up in the Illinois area. And then Paul Johnson, and Dwayne Morin, and Andreas from Sweden. Let's read his. And Christopher Allen. Well, let's go back to Andreas' note from Sweden. And I have Swedish heritage. My great-granddad was full Swedish, so I always love stuff from Sweden. Okay, hi, great show. Keeps my mind occupied on longer sessions. I just have one question, and maybe it's only because I'm quite new. Five episodes or so. As a listener that I don't know the answer or that I'm not listening close enough, do you fuel during almost every workout? I get a feeling of that when listening to the training log, but maybe it's just those workouts that you mentioned. Thanks for the show. Regards from Sweden. Andreas. Okay. I tried for a while doing the low carb thing and the paleo. That's why I cautioned on the paleo thing. And then paleo, low carb, high fat. And it's interesting, but I had terrible results. And I even had one ride where I started getting spotty vision a couple days later and went to the eye doctor, and he said I was so dehydrated that the fluid in my eyeballs was drying out. That's not good, man. And then I also got clinically depressed for a short while and got on antidepressants to try to get me back up to an operating level so I could try to figure out what was going on when I wasn't eating enough carbs. And I've learned my lesson, man. And we've had Jesse Kropelnicki on here, who's a big-time fuel your workouts really, really well, because your body is in the mode to absorb it and use it, and then you'll have a incredible workout that your muscles can really grow from. And then when you're not working out, eat normal and healthy. And also, Sami Inkinen, who's a champion of this higher fat, lower carb stuff, even he will say that you feel great during your, really, really well during your workouts. And then your workouts have a huge impact and really grow you really well. And then when you're not working out, eat how you feel is really healthy and nice. So having gone back to fueling on my workouts, just as needed, I make a fuel bottle and then I only use as much as I need. My training numbers have gone way, way up, and I feel a whole lot better. I'm happier, I'm healthier, all around great. So now remember, this is highly individual per person, but my opinion is only a few people, like 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 really benefit from low carb, high fat. There's a whole lot of us that doesn't function, but give it a try if you like, and then but really pay attention. And I've had to give a lot of help to people that are depressed from not eating enough carbs and trying to do triathlon training on a low fuel, low carb diet, and it just doesn't work. So for triathletes, if you were sedentary or maybe doing one sport, maybe it works just fine. I don't know. Okay, so that's it for the emails. Thank you so much, everybody, and let me go eat some dinner. I think we've got fish and veggies and such, and then I'll be right back, and we'll start getting into the training log, the coolest part of the show. All right, hold on. All right, I'm back. Dinner was really good. It was salmon, and I put a little sriracha sauce on mine, and then corn and new potatoes. I think with probably a little bit of butter on them, just a tiny bit. And yeah, and I felt like I went on a really big bike ride today, and had a little bit of ice cream for dessert after dinner, a little bit of simple sugars. I found that I need to have a certain amount of simple sugars in my diet, and that makes me able to have better workouts and better all-around attitude towards things. And yeah, so let's go ahead and mention another sponsor. We got the Sunto Ambit, Sunto, and I've been with Sunto for a long time, and the Ambit 3 is coming out pretty soon. I think in a couple months, a few months. But the Ambit 3 is going to be Bluetooth enabled. So when you finish a workout, it'll upload. You connect it to your phone. And then what you do is you finish your workout, and then it uses your phone to upload the workout directly to the internet. And then Sunto, you can actually hook it up to Strava directly. So your workouts appear instantly on Strava. It's really cool. And yeah, you get Bluetooth alerts on your phone, on your watch while you're working out. And they've got a new chest strap that has memory in it. I actually have had a version of this for a long time. This is really cool. It used to be it had memory in it, and then when you go back to your house and you download your swim, it'll show you what your heart rate was during your swim. Well, this actually will hold your heart rate data, and then as soon as it sees your watch, because when you're underwater, Bluetooth and ANT and things like that don't transmit underwater, so that's a big problem. Older analog style stuff does, but that stuff isn't battery efficient at all. So this will, let's say you stop at the end of your lane after you've done a set and you stand up, and now your chest strap is above the water and your wrist is above the water line. It'll burst mode update your watch with your heart rate, and you can see what you did during your last set, like in a graph. It's really cool. So there's a whole bunch more stuff like that with the Sunto Ambit 3 coming out. And like I was saying, there's the Sunto Ambit 2 is an all-around badass watch. I've been using it for quite a while, and I love it, love it, love it. And so go check them out. And also we have, let's see, Sufferfest, man. So discount code of 10% off if you use the code ZTSuffers, all caps. And I've been talking with the Sufferfest guys. These are training videos, full triathlons where they yell at you to go faster and stuff. It's awesome. And it's a fully branded, cool company with all kinds of cool stuff. And I've got some Sufferland. They call Sufferfest has their territory. They call it Sufferland, Landria. And I've got a towel from them that you put over your bike, to keep from getting sweat all over your bike. And it contains Sufferlandria holy water, which is your sweat. And it's just such a cool product and such a cool company, such a cool guy. And I'm so excited that we're buddies and friends with this guy. And you can't go wrong. So 10% off with discount code ZTSuffers. And let's see, Hornet Juice. Oh my God, man. One of the reasons I just killed it on today's bike ride, I went too hard. And the reason I was able to go too hard for so long was Hornet Juice. I made a 3-hour water fuel bottle, and in it I put 2 packets of Hornet Juice, which is about right for 3 hours. And then I put it in maltodextrin powder and some honey and some UCAN, kind of a mix of fast and slow acting stuff. I hit a record on today's bike ride. I put out 243 watts for almost 3 hours. I finished my 60-mile bike ride 15 minutes sooner than normal, and it has a lot to do. I ran out of fuel about 2 hours and 15 minutes in, just about 2 hours in, just gone. No more fuel. I was like, oh, crap. But weirdly enough, I was able to keep going at about 95% of what I was doing when I was fueling, and it's that hornet juice that was in there that activates fat burning like crazy, man. And so you get more fuel from your fat with it. And the even crazier thing about hornet juice is that it's actually synthetic. It's made in a lab. It's synthetic, a replica of Japanese killer hornet saliva. And the thing about the Japanese killer hornet, it has the highest power to weight ratio and distance covered of any animal. For its size, it can fly like 100 miles or something crazy like that. And scientists are like, how in the world does it do this? Well, in its saliva, it's got a mix of proteins that activates its body fat. And it's able to run on the body fat that it stores up like diesel fuel. And so they recreated it in a lab, and it's a specific amino acid blend, the proportions of one amino acid to the other, and it's made by hornet juice, and it comes from New Zealand, which is pretty freaking cool. And if you order it on the right side of the webpage, then it directly goes to help out the podcast, and you get an email from me asking you how you're doing wherever you live, and then it's a personal handwritten email by me. And then also when the hornet juice shows up, the stamps come from New Zealand, man. It's really, really cool. So I love working with hornet juice. Been with them for a long, long time. And like I said, I use it, man. And I have some killer results from this stuff. And no stomach upset either, which is really great. And then finally we have Amrita bars, which when I was done with my workout, the first thing I did was get an Amrita chocolate maca bar and eat that with just a little bit of ice cream, and it was so good. So Amrita bars make date bars. So they're like granola bars, but they're actually even better. They're made out of dates, and then there's like pineapple chia and raisin cinnamon apple and things like that. And they got seeds in them instead of nuts. So if you have a nut allergy, that helps out a lot. It's got cardamom in them, in a lot of them, and that helps soothe the stomach. And they're like 200 and something calories a pop. So, but they're actually easily digestible, so they make for really good bike fuel. Really, really good. And then Arshad with Amrita has been on the show a few times, and I love working with this guy, and it's just a great, great company. And you can get 15% off with discount code ZEN, all capital letters, ZEN, if you go to AmritaHealthFoods.com. And Amrita is spelled AMRITA, AmritaHealthFoods.com. They have a whole bunch of flavors, and they got for working out, and they've got recovery, and I just love them. And they actually sponsor a lot of triathletes, and everybody is super, super happy with the stuff. And it's all organic, and it's just like, man, it's just awesome. It's a great way to go. Great way to go. So, okay, I think that's it for all the news and donations and sponsors and stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with the training log. Okay, this episode we start off at the beach. I go surfing with the family down in Port Aransas, Texas, which is got some really good surfing and beach scene, and people drive around in golf carts, and it's just nuts. So you can hear eventually you get around to hearing, I take the recorder out with me as I go to surf, and I bury my phone in the sand. So I'm walking along carrying a longboard under my arm, talking about what's going on, and you hear seagulls and stuff like that. And then that's the surf trip, the beach family vacation. I go surfing like 3 times and talk all about how open water swimming and surfing and stuff can really help your swim. And then we come back, and I start taking you with me on some more workouts and giving more training tips. And I get really into telling you about a couple of audiobooks that are all about habit forming and how to get things done, and how to get things done at work so that you have more time to train, and a whole lot of insightful stuff. So that's the training log. I think that we're ready to roll with that. So let's go ahead and get going. Here is the training log.
You are entering the ZenTri training log zone. Huneli.
Hi everybody, my name's Brett. I'm a triathlete.
I decided it's time I got some friends more suited to my status.
But Joe, we've been friends for years.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Come on, dudes, let's go exercise! Exercise! Yeah! I'm gonna do sit-ups till I poop myself!
All right, welcome to a new training log. We're at the beach. I'm looking out the window. I'm 3 stories up, and I see the ocean breaking waves over there, over the sand dunes full of rattlesnakes here in Texas. That's what we have in the sand dunes. Word of warning, don't go in the sand dunes. They're full of rattlesnakes. And we're in Port Aransas, Texas, which is just around the corner from Corpus Christi. And wow, it's pretty epic outside. And I've been surfing. We're on day 2.5 of our vacation. And I've been doing lots of interesting tips and tricks on training that I'd love to share with you guys. And let me get some podcasting aid going here. It's called a Shiner Bock beer, which is famous in Texas. And I went surfing this morning. Let me see if I can find a beer bottle opener. I went surfing this morning, and the waves are up, but the current is coming from the south, and it's going parallel to the shore, and the current is nuts. So let me tell you what I did after I opened my beer. Okay. So surfing is really good open water swim practice. The bursting speed of trying to catch waves and then being out in the bouncy in the water is pretty nutso. And in Texas, the surf is usually a wave period of like 3 to 6 seconds. I mean, it's nuts, like what a washing machine it is. So if you live along a coastline, you definitely ought to surf to make you a better triathlete. That's actually how I got into triathlon. I started swimming again so that, because I didn't live too close to the coast, so that my swim muscles would compensate for not surfing all that much. So when I did go and surf, I would have been swimming a lot, and surfing wouldn't be that hard because I could only go like once or twice a month. And then I got drawn more and more into the triathlon world. And now I do triathlon way more than I surf. But I have lots of surfboards. On the way down here, we brought 3 surfboards. We actually own 4, but I brought down 3. I got a 9-foot longboard, which a longboard is really nice for open water swim practice. You can just lay on it and then just paddle around in the prone position, which actually I did this morning with this current that's going sideways across the front of the beach here. I would paddle against it and make almost zero progress, and would paddle against it for like 5-10 minutes. And then I'd sit up on the board and wait for waves, which there's tons of. I'm just waiting for a good wave. And I'd catch a couple waves, and by then I'm back past the hotel again, and I got to turn around and paddle back up. And I did that yesterday morning, and then this morning. And it's been a ton of fun. What's really cool is I've been surfing long enough where I no longer worry about being able to stand. I haven't surfed in a year. It's been exactly a year, and I stood up on my first try. So I'm like, okay, well, we don't have to worry about that anymore. Brett can surf, and I guess if you do it long enough, then it's something you always remember. So. And I don't want to talk totally about surfing and open water swimming, but what it does is it really works your arms and shoulders. And actually, I cut it short yesterday. I quit before I wanted to because, in my experience, you won't be able to surf every day. And I want to surf every day while I'm here if you do it too much the first day. That's a good training tip right there. So if you haven't done something in a long time, and you want to get back into it, take it really easy and cut it short the first couple of times, and because you're going to be really beat up the next day. Last summer I didn't do that, and I ended up cracking a rib or separating a rib from trying too hard and then getting thrown around. And also, yesterday I took Emily and Kai for their first paddleboard session, which we'll probably get them on the air here in a little bit to tell us about it. We went to a board house here in Port Aransas. Last summer I recorded a podcast as well, and I interviewed the guy, or I told you about the guy that I ran into the parking lot that actually owns the moped from The Legend of Billie Jean, which was filmed here in Port Aransas. It was supposed to be in Corpus Christi, but it was filmed here in Port Aransas. And anyway, so I went to Board House down the way here, and on this island, not everybody, but about half the people are driving around in golf carts, so it's kind of like Catalina Island, but way trashier, is what I like to say. But in a good way. It's fun. It's laid back Texas stuff. So the board house surf shop had paddle boards, but they were all rented out for the weekend ahead of time. And they had just gotten one back in for repairs, and so we threw it on the top of the Nissan Xterra, which I have surfboard pads from round bars, but Nissan Xterras have like bigger, flatter bars. And I'll get back to that in a minute. The gang's back. Hold on.
Mommy.
Okay, they're back. So we got some noise here.
Let's go on the porch.
So we rented a paddleboard at Board House, and for the pads on the Xterra, my regular surfboard pads for my Honda Element and for my old truck won't work because they won't wrap around these big flat bars. And so in an emergency, I grabbed yoga mats, which are the squishy, plasticky material.
Subway sandwiches are made out of?
Do what?
That Subway sandwiches are made out of?
Yeah. They're made out of Subway sandwich bread. Thanks, Emily. And laid those across the bars, and then put the surfboards on top of that for the trip down here, like a 5-hour drive, and that worked great. And then the paddleboard fit on top with the cinch down cam straps that I used to use for my motorcycle. But anyway, we got this paddleboard, and we threw it on the roof, $25 for half a day. And we threw it on the roof of the Xterra, and the Xterra continues to impress me with its utility. That was so easy to do. And it's got the built-in steps on the side where it's so easy to stand on it and get up there. And then we drove down the highway a bit to an inlet on the bay side of the island where it was really flat and calm, and we went off-road in 4x4 for a while. How'd you like that, babe?
It's fun. I think you had more fun than anyone else.
Yeah.
Because you were driving.
Yeah,
Peeling out.
driving a 270 horsepower SUV through sand, which is awesome. And then we put in the water, and I got in first and showed y'all kind of what the whole point was and how to do it. And then you went next, right, Emily?
I went next.
And your swimsuit matched the board, which was
that
really
well
important.
planned. I really planned that.
Yeah. So how was it?
It was fun. Started out just sitting on my knees and kind of getting the feel of how it was in the water, and then carefully stood up. And I managed not to fall. So
yeah, Emily yet again proves her athletic ability of never having to try at anything, and then paddleboarded for her first time and never fell in.
yeah. Well,
Remember that time on rollerblades where you never fell down?
right. I have better balance than you. So,
First time Emily rollerblades. She just starts cruising around the driveway.
You're holding on to everything.
Yeah, no, never falls down. My friends and I, remember Travis?
Yeah.
We're falling down all over the place. And then we put Kai on the board. And Kai didn't want to go out by himself because there was some wind and stuff, and it could suck him down the lagoon.
It was a big board.
And but then we did Kai on the front of the paddleboard and me on the middle back, paddling around with Kai on the front. How was that?
Good.
Do you remember when we went down that ways for a while and there was a guy fishing with a dog?
Yeah.
Is that kind of cool?
Yeah.
What'd you like about the paddleboard? Exploring and
Yeah.
stuff?
Laying on the front.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
then
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And did you and Daddy see a rattlesnake?
We heard one, but we didn't see
There was
one.
something in the bushes, and then I said it was probably a rattlesnake. And you should have seen how fast Kai ran down the beach.
I did. I saw that.
He's like, "I'm out of here." I go, "It's not going to come after you." And he's like, "You don't know that." They took
I
off.
saw a sign a while ago. We went out.
There's a Army helicopter going by. National Guard.
There's a sign going out to the beach that says "Watch out for snakes" because that's the first one I've seen. Over off to the side over there. Anyway,
So I was throwing sticks in an old Gatorade bottle into the bushes, trying to see if I could get the rattlesnake to attack or show itself or something like that. So.
And so then Kai and I went boogie boarding. We just got back, and the current was pretty strong, like you said. And we had to get out 3 times and walk back to where we started. And Kai and I caught some good waves. And then one time I looked out. Kai, I don't know where Kai was, and I saw all these little heads sticking up out of the water, like little. I guess they were turtles. It was weird. It was the weirdest thing. And they would go up, and then they jump back down. And they go up, and they jump back down. I could just see about this far out of the water.
Just describe your this far for the podcast.
Well, I don't know, 2 inches out of the water. And so then it reminded me that we see all these turtles over here, and maybe there were sea turtles out there. Like, remember how we saw the sign that said if you see a sea turtle on the beach, let them know? I don't know what else it could have been. It was weird.
We don't have seals around here, so it had to be.
No, they were little bitty, like.
Yeah, I bet it was turtles.
I guess. It was just weird.
Huh. Because I've seen one time, a big sea turtle stick his head up when I was surfing south of here. No, north of here.
When we were last summer, when we were here, we were down at that pier, and we saw one swimming around in the water.
Yeah, I guess so. So Kai, what did you think? Oh, remember when we were surfing yesterday, and the fish were swimming through the waves?
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part so far?
I don't know.
Paddleboarding?
Yeah.
Kind of just played.
Well, you're getting closer and closer to me, like you want to say something. What do you want to say?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're going to go outside.
I know you ran out of things to say. What about the big pool down there? You like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's our plan for today, Emily? Do you have any
I've
ideas?
determined that we're renting a golf cart. He's asked me several times.
So maybe we could rent a golf cart and then ride around town? And get lunch in town or something like that?
One or the other. It's either lunch or dinner. I'm not doing both. We bought a whole bunch of food.
Cool. And then Kai can drive the golf cart up and down the beach
When no one's looking.
and go sand duning in it. You get some driving lessons in?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we do things in the South,
Did you see
apparently.
Kai playing volleyball?
Is let the kid. I grew up with my dad putting me on his lap in which the equivalent of a Nova, a Chevy Nova.
On the streets?
Yeah,
We used to drive it
with a
before.
350 engine in it, and would let me just gun it. It was an Oldsmobile Omega, which is the same thing as a Nova, and that was pretty crazy. So we'll let Kai just drive a golf cart around at age 9, probably.
Yep.
Unless the police are listening, then I have no idea what you're talking about. And, okay, that's it. I'll come back later with some tips on cycling intervals on the trainer. All right, out. All right, I'm back. Strolling down to the beach with a longboard, surfboard under my right arm. Recorder in the left. Had a lot of fun yesterday. Oh, today's Sunday. It's Ironman Lake Placid. I've got John Newman racing. Amrita athlete, ZenTri athlete, John Newman. I'm turning the corner of the hotel and going a little bit of wind here. And so I'm following that and following the Ironman Lake Placid 7th place prize purse, which is pretty cool. And they're over $7,000 now. Lance Armstrong donated, and that got it some attention and some more money quick. And also, let's see, I was listening to a podcast with the James Altucher podcast. It had Jim Norton in it, and I heard something that I thought was pretty cool that I've been noticing myself. I turned 41 just a few days ago, and they were talking about at some point you get old enough, you're too old to be embarrassed anymore, or to be embarrassed by being embarrassed, right? I guess it's like you've seen enough to realize what stuff doesn't really matter and you shouldn't be embarrassed about. And then also, I think life's too short to get embarrassed anymore. They were talking about that. That was pretty cool. So, Emily yesterday, she brought this hat. And it's a cool hat. Just she never wears any hats. So Kai and I were kind of teasing her about it. Like, what's up with the hat? You know. So that's over the past couple of days. So yesterday, we left the hotel to go do stuff during the day. And she didn't have the hat. We're like, where's the hat? She goes, you guys are just going to make fun of me. We're like, oh, come on. Get the hat. And Emily's really stubborn. She's like, no, I'm not going to get the hat. And I said, we're not going anywhere. We're outside the hotel now, like on the walkway that's on our floor. Outside the hotel room, but we're still in the hotel. And I said, we're not going anywhere until you get your hat. I wish I recorded this because this was good. And she said, I'm not going to wear it. You can't make me wear it. So there was a standoff there for a while. And we were laughing at how stubborn she was. And then, so what did I do? I go, fine. And I laid down on the floor of the hotel, of our floor's kind of lobby area for the third floor. And Emily goes, what are you doing? And I said, I'm laying here until you go get your hat. And Kai started laughing. She goes, get up, you're embarrassing me. And I'm like, I don't care. So we had an embarrassment standoff. And then people started walking by. And I said, I'm not drunk. She just won't go get her hat. And the guy that was with the couple laughed. He goes, oh, yeah. So anyway, that was good stuff. All right. So a little bit about consistency is because it's good to have consistent training because you can tell what things work and what things don't by changing things up. If you repeat the same thing day to day. So today's surfing is a repeat of yesterday, and yesterday it was a repeat of the day before that. And I felt a little weak towards the end, like I ran out of fuel towards the end. So for breakfast today, I ate a little bit more juice, drank a little bit more juice with the same meal, and we're going to see if that helps. All right, you can hear the surf, seagulls maybe. And I'm going to bury my phone in the sand in a Ziploc with my flip-flops, and I think we got something. See y'all in about an hour. Out. All right. I'm walking up the stairwell to the condos, 3 floors up. They don't have a first floor because hurricanes blow out the first floor of everything around here. So the second floor is really the third floor. Epic surf session. After a while, about half the time I was out there 50-something minutes, 50, surfing. I decided to go out further, out onto the third sandbar, where the bigger waves were. They're about 5 foot out there, but really unpredictable. Maybe the occasional 6 foot. Yeah, I'm looking at me, yeah. And caught some big cruisers. But speaking of cruisers, you got to watch out because that's where the cruiser sharks hang out. And there's mullet, which is a bait fish, schooling with their heads out of the water. When you see those, that means that sharks are nearby. And here's Kai. How was it?
Good.
So you rode the board?
Yes.
All right. Emily's in the shower cleaning up. We'll interview her when she gets out. But Emily stood up 3 times. Right, May?
That's right.
So,
Fun.
that's right. So, it feels good. I got the surfboard loaded on the car. Got 2 more boards to go, which we never rode, which is okay. It's better to have too many than too few. And I need a snack. And the extra juice I drank before I went really came in handy. And it would take, the side current wasn't quite as strong as yesterday, but it's still strong. It wasn't scary like it was yesterday. And I timed it. It would take 5 minutes of pretty strong paddling, which is like a nice interval. to get to one side of the hotel, and then I'd park myself and catch a few waves, and then I'd be on the other side of this huge condo hotel thing because of the current, and then I'd paddle back 5 minutes and park myself again. But it was really cool catching one of these huge waves. I caught, I think it was 2 or 3 really big waves, and I got my fill for the trip because I caught one and it scared me. It was so big and so fast. And then after I got control of it, and then it doubled up and caught another wave and then kept going. So it was kind of a longer ride. And then it threw me towards the end, and like a bucking bronco. And then I slammed into the water so hard it rammed salt water up my nose, all in one ride. And that's worth $1 million right there. So. Whew. And then I put my flip-flops over where I buried my phone in the sand and with arrows pointed at it so I could find it really easily, and dug it out, and it's fine. So that's pretty cool. All right, out, bang. I forgot, I wanted to mention that I almost got my hand ripped off by the ankle cord, by the leash to the surfboard. And the way we got Emily out there, she wanted to do it, was Emily used to surf in California. She can surf just fine. In fact, you stood up on your second try today. Right, babe? Where'd you go? And so we went out where I could just barely stand, and the waves were breaking right there. And Gulf Coast surfing, wind-driven surf, is crazy. It's like a 6-second wave period, which is nuts. It's like a washing machine. And so Emily laid on the board, and then I would stand. I'm about chest deep. And I would wait. Emily would be facing towards the beach, and I would wait just a little bit, and it's rocking and rolling all over the place. It's pretty wild, right, baby?
Yeah.
And then I would shove, and I basically couldn't give you any warning, right? Because the waves are so like sporadic, and you have to really learn to read the waves. So I would just shove. The first time I did that, Emily takes off on a wave, screaming like "woo," you know, and the cord, the surfboard leash, which is connected to her ankle, and then the tail of the surfboard had wrapped itself around my wrist. And it pulled on my thumb like super hard, and now at the base of my thumb it hurts like really bad. And so you think like that's like the most dangerous thing in any kind of aquatic anything, sailing. You see this like on those fishing shows up in Alaska, where you just, no matter what, you don't want to get caught up in lines. And just Emily, just on a surfboard and just in waves 5 feet deep, about ripped my arm off. So it shows you how powerful it is. Yeah, that was crazy. Now my hand hurts. But anyway, what was it like standing, baby, on my long?
It was exciting.
How'd you like my longboard?
It was great. It was really exciting.
Was it waxy?
Yeah, very. I had fun.
Yeah.
Made me miss it for a minute.
For a minute.
I like the boogie boarding with Kai too, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Surfing, you have to practice a lot to be any good at it. And
I
then,
couldn't have paddled out there. I would have worn myself out.
So you said you saw me way out there?
Yeah, I got a few pictures of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I impress you with how far out I went?
Yes, babe. It was very impressive. Kai's like, "Where's Daddy? I don't see him. Where's Daddy?" And I'm like, "He's right there."
He's out there with the ocean liners.
He's out there with the sharks.
Yeah, for real. It's crazy when you're out there how often you think you see a shark.
I thought we saw one.
Yeah, every kind of movement is a shark, you know. And it's one of those things where, because, like I was saying, the wave period, that's how frequently a wave goes under you. Because of the wave period is so fast here in Texas, usually 99% of the time, you really don't get time to think about anything else. It's crazy. So I was out there for almost an hour surfing, and I tried, like sitting on the board and being like, this is so relaxing, but it's not. It's intense. So almost an hour goes by where you think of nothing except for what you're in, which is kind of like, it's kind of like Zen flow, Or like climbing an hour-long bike ride up the side of a mountain where, let's say on a mountain bike where it's technical, or where there's cars and you're riding on the shoulder. Like when we did Spain, El Pico, I think was the name of it.
The last day?
Yeah, that was 2.5 hours of being in the moment because you could not mess up. You mess up, you're going off the side of a mountain or into traffic, which is awesome. You know, that's what really makes you feel alive. So, it's a good trip, buddy. Good trip.
It's been a great trip.
So now Emily's making pancakes.
Yep.
And I'm having a Shiner Bock.
Beer
I started
pancakes.
speaking into the beer like it was a microphone. That's a Shiner Bock. I've only had a couple sips, right?
Sure. It's great, hey?
You don't want. You remember Tank? You don't want to return into Tank.
What?
Do you remember that?
On Old School?
Old school. Will Ferrell's character, where if he got drunk, he turned.
Everybody's going streaking. Remember?
He's running down the street naked.
She's like, honey, there's no one. Look around. There's no one behind.
Must be cold out.
Where'd everybody go?
So, and Kai is building houses like crazy in Minecraft, like Rich Roll's kids, from what I understand. Right, Kai?
Yeah.
Lots of swimming pools. Yep. So, Kai, what was up with the big trash sack that you found in the water and we're dragging around with you?
For onions.
It was a big onion bag?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, how was driving down the beach for like eternity yesterday into the sand and everything?
That was pretty interesting.
Okay, all right.
I thought you said Morgan's kids, not Rich Roll.
They both do. Yeah. All right. Oh, and Jamie Patrick swam some crazy thing across Lake Mead yesterday. So, how many hours did it say? 9 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
So let's say it was 8 or 9 hours. No. I don't think it was 10. I'm not sure what he swam, but it was 82 degree water and 106 degrees temperature outside. So just imagine how hard that was. So big props to Ultra Swimmer on Twitter. All right, out, bang. All right, we're in the car, the ZenTri Mobile Studios, and we're halfway back home, and we're going to do a review of what was awesome about the beach trip and what
Top three.
would we change. Okay?
I don't know what Daddy's gonna say.
Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, my top three favorite things from the trip were paddleboarding, for the stand-up paddleboarding for the first time,
Yeah.
boogie boarding with Kai, and what else?
What about like going to get ice cream at the coffee shop?
Yeah, going to get ice cream last night at the coffee shop was pretty cool. Those are my top three things. Oh, and playing cards with Kai, like out on the patio.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite things.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you Kai.
Boogie boarding, surfing, and paddleboarding.
Okay. Let's see. My favorite things were surfing with you guys, and that Mommy stood up. First try, second try, whatever. First good wave that you caught, even though it ripped off my thumb.
Yeah.
So even though you tried to kill me.
Not the first time.
And let's see. Another thing is I figured out how far out to go to catch some really good waves on the last day. That was one of my favorite things, and I got salt water up my nose. I love that. And then another thing was finding a place to rent a paddleboard and put it in. And I think I know a better place to put it in next time. And that the roof rack worked for the Xterra so well for this kind of stuff, which makes me think all these things are like next time that we go, or even just me and Kai or any of us go to the beach or get a paddleboard on lakes. Like the future looks bright, so bright I gotta wear shades.
Or we could have rented a kayak. I mean, there's so many things we could have done.
Yeah. Okay. So what things would you have changed, babe?
Well, how long it took to get on and off the ferry this trip, because the first trip we didn't have that problem. I didn't like that.
An hour and a half wait.
Yeah.
It's
Both
freaking
times.
stupid.
That's all I'm going to say, because I'm sure you'll say enough about everything else. The other thing didn't bother me as much. Oh, just our loud neighbors, but whatever.
Yeah, those didn't bother me. I didn't notice them.
You were in a deep sleep by then.
When I go to bed, I'm
What
out.
about you, Daddy? Why don't you share your...
Let's see. The 40-year-old frat party going on in the pool all through the middle of the day when I wanted to relax.
Bon Jovi frat party?
Yeah, the Bon Jovi playing on the speaker system at full blast.
And over and over.
And really drunk guys being annoying on purpose. And just so loud. And I'm at the point where I like to go on vacation to be quiet and get away from stuff. And that's my personality anyway.
But what was funny was that for that song, for them, they had to be our age to appreciate that song.
Oh, yeah.
So they're totally our age, and that's just funny.
Yeah, and I get it.
Like you are.
I get it. They were being
are.
sarcastic and a pain in the ass on purpose by playing Living on a Prayer by Bon
they didn't have any
Jovi
children with
over and over again, really, really loud, and screaming it at the top of their lungs.
Well, the first day, Friday, when we were there was a girl's birthday party, and so they had hired a DJ, and that was pretty cool, and they played a variety of music, and that was actually pretty neat. Well, then
No, it wasn't.
After the DJ left was when these people came out, and then they came out yesterday again, and it was a little too much. But
Oh, I like driving the Xterra down the beach in the sand, and then it actually scared me at one point because the sand got so deep, and I was having to blast through it to get through sections of it. And you were yelling at me to cut it out and stuff like that. So, let's see. Another thing, I don't like all the crowds, and we didn't rent a golf cart, which is okay because Xterra worked just fine with the windows down, driving down the beach. So in Texas, you can drive down the beach until you run out of beach in most places. It's pretty cool.
And we went when we had gone paddle boarding, I saw a sign for a different resort that I wanted to just go check out the pool, and so we stopped and checked it out, and it actually had 2 lap lanes and like this ridiculously huge pool with like 3 levels.
ZenTri Base Camp 2015 is going to be in Port Aransas, Texas, because they have a 2-lane lap lane and beach for open water swimming, and you campers are on your own because I'm going to be surfing the entire time.
Anyway,
but
we might check into there.
I'm trying to think of something else I didn't like. The drive isn't all that bad. Not after driving to Tennessee and back. Well, we're trying to do 3 things.
No, we didn't have to come up with 3 things.
No. I don't like how you're so bossy all the time.
Quit being a negator.
You're such a negator. Okay, what about you, Kai? What would you change? Bring the dogs would be awesome.
Yeah. If
and bring the cat and let him use the entire beach as his litter box. It'd be pretty cool.
They said if we owned the condo we stayed at, we could have brought the dog.
Yeah. So we're gonna buy a condo, just so we can bring a dog.
We got a list again this year, just like last year, of all the ones that are for sale.
Yeah. All right, Kai. What about you?
What
would you change?
The ferry not being that long and bringing the dogs, and I think that's it.
And Kai wanted to rent a golf cart.
Oh yeah, and you wanted to rent a golf cart pretty bad.
Yes.
Cool. That's a good list.
Yep.
All right, more later. Oh, 7th place just finished. It's a guy. I hadn't heard of him before. That doesn't mean anything. But he tried to cross the finish line with a check. He did cross the finish line with his check in his hand. It looked like Starkey and the crew handed it to him right before he crossed the finish line. And rumor is, through Twitter and whatnot, that Mike Riley grabbed the check and threw it in the trash. And Emily's mad at him for throwing it in the trash. But I'm not sure that's just what people are saying on Twitter. So, who really knows? And who knows? He could have thrown it in the trash laughing, like, come on, guys. And, knows the whole thing is, being silly. And so, anyway. That's it. More later. Out. Bang. Oh, we're back. I was about to say we're back in Texas. We're back in College Station. And my thumb, the base of my thumb, and my wrist is really starting to hurt from getting it caught in Emily's leash surfing. And it just goes to show that saying that I like to quote all the time is the most dangerous thing when you're surfing isn't sharks and it isn't the water, it's other people and the boards. You got to really be careful. What are you doing?
Are you complaining about your injury?
Yeah. I'm giving people an update. It's very important that they know. What about Kona? Kona's got a brain injury.
I'm so happy, daughter. I'm so glad that you're home.
What's in these bags?
All these bags. What's in here? Where's my stuff?
Anyway, when you're surfing, a lot of open water stuff. You got to watch out for the fins on the board because they're sharp. They'll cut you up. And then getting hit with somebody else when they fall off the board and the board comes back and hits you. or your own board, actually. So, what are you laughing at?
Your own board with a person on it.
Yeah, with an Emily on it. It's apparently the most dangerous thing in the world. Hold on, making a coffee. And then there's more drama with Ironman Lake Placid. I gotta go catch up. Out. All right, I'm out running with Kona. 6 a.m. Monday morning. And I'm actually pretty stoked. I'm pretty proud of myself. After a 4-day vacation and all that driving yesterday, 4.5 hours, back to the house to be up and at it. Found all my gear and hit the road at 6. So I'm done at 7, be at work at 8. And it is much cooler in the morning, so I can run with the dog a lot longer. So he gets his exercise. It's all good. Got a few things for you. One is I'm journaling every day now. And a really cool thing that I figured out, a hinge pin, if that's the word, to me getting it done, was me believing it was in a place that got saved. So David Allen, of Getting Things Done, said one of the most important things is your brain has to believe that when you write down a task, that it's in a place where you're going to remember it. Well, there's a lot of things in life I want to record so I can look them up later with search and also share with kids or whatever on down the road. And Google Docs saved in the cloud seems to do it for me. Because I seem to have faith that they'll be there for a long time, that everything's saved, right? So if I ever need to get it out to another format, it'll be a piece of cake. Instead of some, one-off tasking software or something like that where you record notes. Owner gets hit by a bus and suddenly the whole system goes under. And now everything's lost. So there's that. So I'm journaling every day. It's pretty cool. And then another thing is a mindset of productivity and being organized and getting things done. You have the energy to work out and train and do all this stuff. It's something to remember that speed gives you control. And what I mean by that, if you don't make your choices of when you run, swim, bike, get your work done, other work, work, somebody else is going to make it up for you. And I did a little experiment. And the way I took off from training so much the past month or so was to not fight for my time. That's all I was going to do, is quit saying, no, I'm going to do my own thing instead. And guess what? My training time dropped in half. Because, on purpose, but because I just never said no. Right? I was out of control. Other people are in control. Hey, will you have dinner with us? Hey, will you do this? Will you do that? I'm like, sure. And I was saying it on purpose. That's my point. I'm not upset. It was actually legit. And then, look, Connor, we got another hill. So, speed, your own speed of doing stuff, gives you control because you got plans, you got things to do, you got things to say.
you can say no because you got things you're already saying yes to. And where this comes in handy, or the demonstration of that, is bicycles, for example. Unless the bicycle's moving, you can't steer it, and you'll fall over. Think about it. If a car's moving, the steering doesn't work very well. Imagine a car without power steering back in the old days. It had to be moving for you to turn the wheel, for you to be in control. And boats, right? The best example is a jet ski. Unless you're giving it throttle, you can't steer it. People cut the throttle and then coast into a pier, and then suddenly realize they can't steer it, and then crash. And the best example lately is when I was surfing this weekend, is to steer that board. You got to be moving, or else the fins don't work, right? Look, Kona, we're at the top of the hill. Let's go back. Let's go back. Good boy. Good boy. So, biggest complaint in triathletes is not enough time to train. You know how to find enough time to train? Train. Put on your calendar the days you're going to work out. No, honey. I can't juggle gravel or whatever you want me to do that day. I've got a bike ride. See, it's on the calendar. So velocity gives you control. And then once you get up to speed, you start feeling the control. It feels good. Really, really good. So that leads me to the last thing. Is I've got my month or so, 2 months maybe, I don't know how long it's been, I've taken it kind of half speed. I've put on 10 pounds. And I'm ready to take it off. So how? Well, sign up for a race. So that's my next goal. I'm going to officially sign up for Austin 70.3. Longhorn 70.3. Now I've got something to aim at, right? Steer my boat at that. And then I need to get up to speed. So the steering actually works. That means training. And then little corrections as I go. How about that? I was just having an email conversation with an ex-client from a long time ago. It's like, how do you do it? And I'm like, man, it's really, really simple. I pick a race that I'm excited about or nervous about. Seems like a challenge. There's something about it that I can't stop thinking about. And I make sure it's many months, 3, 4, 5 months down the road. And that gets me training. And it's that simple. Good morning. All right, out, bang.
All right, I'm back, leaving a neighborhood pool. I just had a really good idea. Thought about, while I was wrapping up my swim, I was doing a different kind of workout, about during the training log, telling you what I'm doing as a workout to give you ideas, because so many people listen to this for a training buddy. I'm your training buddy. During your long, lonely workouts, I can give you ideas on what to do.
I can give you workouts, be your podcast coach. All right. Neighborhood pool. The big pool in town is closed for the week for some kind of games of Texas or something. I guess we're going to swim around and then rodeo rattlesnakes and pour barbecue sauce on them. Battered, fried, dip them or something like that. Pour ranch all over it. But anyway, so I'm swimming at a pool down the street. I coach a guy who's like, man, I don't know where I'm going to go swim. I'm like, man, this is what it's about. Dude, Ironman training, triathlon training really shows you how bad you want it. You know? Oh, when I swam for the Lake Tahoe swim, which was 22 miles nonstop at high elevation, I figured out a way to swim 3 days in a row, 5 hours each day. 5 hours, man, each day. I swam 11 miles a day. That was my target. I swam 5 hours a day and it ended up being 11 miles. Each day, 3 days in a row. And how did I do it? Man, every time I had to switch lanes, move from one pool to the next in the same complex, you know, but a swim team would show up and have, you move over here. College swim team showed up, I got to move over there. Just kept on freaking going, dude. You know, you got to be determined. So I'm like, pool's closed this week. So what I did was I go to this neighborhood pool, and it's got no lights, no lane ropes, but it is 25 meters long. And I start swimming in the dark. I got to do open turns because I can't see the freaking walls. And twice I crashed into the side of the pool because I can't see anything. You know, but in a way, it's kind of motivational. It's kind of like, man, you got to get this done, dude. The obstacle is the path. It's a good book. You got to read it. And there's a guy I saw jogging with his dog earlier. Full-size collie. Those are pretty dogs. I used to have one when I was a kid. And then I just thought of a story I'm going to keep to myself. So so I get to the pool and I drop a rock, a big like fist-sized rock into each end of the pool so I can see something on the bottom because it's white. There is nothing there on top. And so at least while I'm swimming, I can see something on the bottom that tells me I'm about to crash into the wall. Do open turns. Oh, and I had to pull out a lawn chair and out of the pool that somebody had crashed into the pool in the middle of the night. And then I also had to, what do you call it? There was an empty can of sunscreen just floating in the water. I ran into, had to pull it out. But anyway, here's your workout. You swim easy and then slowly accelerate until it starts to burn a little bit, and then you hold that burn for a little while. And so let's say this is over, for example, over a period of about 5 minutes. And then when it gets to be too much, stop at the wall and then walk to the other side of the pool to recover. Walk and swim slow like breaststroke. Really, really easy. Catch your breath and then do it again. So if you break it up into about 5 minute pieces. One time I did 8 minutes, another time I did 4. You know, it just kind of depends. Then, you know, your workout is only 6 times 10. What is that? 12 of those if you did it for an hour. And I did it for 52 minutes or something like that. So I did like 10 of those. And the reason why that works is you're pulsing yourself with a dose of something that wears you out and will eventually make you stronger. And then you take it easy in between to recover a little bit so you can do it again and again and again and again. And it's kind of like toughening yourself up by being hit with a stick. Whack! Right? And then go easy, and then recover, and then accelerate. Whack! And then you get hit with a stick,
and it makes you tougher, and then you spread it out over time. And last night's bike ride was very similar. I went hard on the uphills. There's about 20 uphills on this thing, and by the time I got to the top, the legs burn a little bit. But then each time you get to rest on the downhill, and the physiology of this is far better for you to expose yourself to really hard and then recover, expose yourself to really hard and then recover, than just doing a long, overly long thing of medium hard. Because you go too long at medium hard, you get exhausted and it doesn't really improve you. And you dose yourself with hard and then recover, it's like lifting weights. So, and then what you do, because it's endurance training, you just spread it out over a long period of time, and then you can gradually, over time, there's my neighbor, gradually over time you can do longer and more intense, but gradually, you can kind of see what I'm getting at. Anyway, it's nice, and it breaks up the workout. So you could do it for a 1 hour swim, a half-hour swim, a 1 hour run, a 4 hour bike ride, just on occasion push it, and then recover, and then push it, and then recover. And yeah, you won't be, you'll be just a tiny bit faster next workout, but over consistency, over 100 workouts, you become beast mode. All right, that's it. Whew, got it done. I can't believe it. Out, bang. All right, hold on. Ziploc bag. Who's ready to go with me on a run? I'm 20 minutes in. Took the dog out and back 10 minutes each way because it's too hot. It's Tuesday evening. Thanks for coming with me. I'm doing an hour run. As soon as I got started, I could tell my legs were weak. Oh man, my legs are weak. Oh, hold on, people over here. I'm back. We got people out on their driveway. In Texas, probably like a lot of places, it's a thing to just sit out in your driveway. And I guess get drunk. In the evening. Oh, now I'm going to pass a whole family. Guy and his wife towing a little girl in a wagon, another girl on a bike, a boy on a scooter. Come on. And then unrelated boys playing basketball, driveway on the left, just past them. The dad looked concerned with his wife too. There's a whole lot of kids he's got to look out for in there. You hear the cicadas? Go quiet as I get near. We'll pick back up again in a second. Some more kids and a dad up ahead. Dad trying to encourage the boy to ride his bike. So I felt weak, and then I also needed to pee, which is a sign of not enough carbs for the day. I'm trying to lean back up, cutting back on calories a little bit. My first symptom, not enough fuel for a workout, is needing to pee. It's your body trying to dump water so it can concentrate blood sugar in your bloodstream. Problem is you're going out for a workout. It's counterproductive to a workout. So you need to up the blood sugar
And so I've got a flask. Hold on, we gotta be quiet. Gotta up the blood sugar. Sipping on a flask of slightly watered down honey, like a gel flask. That really wasn't doing the trick. I didn't want that much honey because it'll hurt my stomach. So when I dropped the dog off, I grabbed a Hornet juice packet, which is a mix of sugar and protein, carbs and protein, and dumped that into one of my running flasks, water flasks. Ooh, sand. Ooh. Somebody's doing some backyard construction. A lot of sand. Anyway. That's a chug of the Hornet juice right there. And that, I think they're about 100, 150 calories total. But that'll up my energy at first, and then give me a nice long burn as I keep going. Hornet juice. Sting the competition. Oh yeah, I'm feeling better already. So the lesson there is don't be afraid to tweak your workout. You're spending a lot of your time and a lot of your money going out to train. Things you could be doing something else. So don't F it up by going, well, I need to keep going. I'm not going to stop and fix things. No, stop and fix things. Make it better. So I stopped back at the house, dropped off the dog, adjusted my fuel. Now I feel way better. It's going to be a much better workout. I'm listening, may have mentioned it earlier, audiobook on Audible, 23 Anti-Procrastination Habits. It's good. I like it. And I've noticed that when I listen to those kinds of things, productivity stuff, I get productive. You got to surround yourself. Cicadas. You surround yourself with people better than you. You know, you're the result. You're the average of the 5 people you hang out with most. So I start listening to productivity books and TED Talks, right? Here's a couple of parents teaching their kid how to ride a bike in a parking lot. That's nice. I used to do that. Okay, I'm back. You got parents in protective mode over their kids, like mama bears. You'll be all talking to yourself while running. Probably report you to the police. So the tip is, Man, I love listening to that stuff. Productivity stuff. It totally changes my attitude. It starts changing who you are. You know, you start believing that you're a productive person too. It's all an attitude. You know? The I, the me, is all opinion. That with just a little bit of work, you can change it into anything. You can be a peaceful person. You can be an aggressive person. You can be a thoughtful person. You can even decide that you can change your personality based on what the situation needs. If it's a dangerous situation, you can be aggressive and protective. If it's a sad situation, you can be sad. And kind and helpful. You don't have to be one thing. You can decide you have to be one thing, or you can broaden your horizons. Hey, cows! It's all a habit, a decision. Here's some Black Angus. Y'all don't go get turned into handy hamburgers, okay? I like running by you guys. Oh, this one's giving me the stink eye. All right, so since I left the house, that was at the 20-minute mark when I left the house. So to make it a full hour, I'm running away from my house in a different direction, 20 minutes. And then I'm going to turn around and run back. That's another 20 minutes. 20 plus 20 plus 20 is 60. I'm in the habit of running. I'm in the habit of either swim, bike, or running nearly twice a day. I don't do it. My habit is I do it twice a day. Something. And then I don't do. I'm in the habit of I don't work out if I feel tired. It's a good habit. It's just a habit. Good habits to have. Now I don't even think about it. You can get there too. It's not that hard. And then the other habit is during the weekdays, they're about an hour each workout. And if I'm feeling weak, I just go easy. And that builds just stamina and mental toughness. And if I feel strong, I'm mixing some hard intervals. And that's about it. And then on the weekends, one of the mornings, Saturday or Sunday, I try to get clearance from Clarence. To find a few hours to go do something. That way it's kind of longer. And then every evening after dinner, I pretty much either run, cry. It's kind of nice. Man, hear those cicadas. That's nice. Whew. All right, I got to keep an eye on my watch. This has been a good run. We'll catch up later. Let me turn this thing off through the Ziploc bag. All right, I'm back. That was a good run. Oh, my running shorts, I've worn them twice in a row. They smell like funkadelic. Whew. Okay, this is the last of my Shiner box. Might not have a beer for a while. Here's the Sunto bottle opener. Kona's drinking out of his water bowl. Great way to cool down after a workout is to drink something cold. And you need carbs. So how about some cold carbs? How about some cold carbonated carbs? Some barley pop. There you go. All right. Man, I had a bunch of things. How you feel about things and how much you do is based on perspective. Everything is perspective, how you view things. And the Zen saying is, a room can be dark for 1,000 years, right? Total darkness. And all it takes is one candle, one idea, one light to change it from total darkness, no matter how long it's been dark, to light, right? So, I was listening to This Week in Tech with Leo Laporte, and they had a woman on there who I wasn't familiar with. But she was an ADD expert, and apparently Leo Laporte is too, and said that they were talking about playing games on their phones at the same time as doing other things, that people with ADD have their frontal lobe doesn't perform fast enough, and so they have to stimulate it for anything to interest them. Oh, Roxy's outside. Come here, babe. So the reason they're always fiddling and twitching and stuff is because the thing that they're supposed to be doing isn't interesting enough because their frontal lobe isn't working right. Now, I'm just saying, this is what I heard. I'm not a doctor. I don't know this. Makes sense. And next year they'll come up with a different theory. But anyway, this one works for now. And so you people that have this have to be doing something all the time, or else they just get bored out of their mind. I fall into that category. I don't know how bad I've got it, but I used to get in trouble in school, middle school especially, for reading being bored in class and picking at my fingernails and looking off in the distance. But then I was smart because I knew all the answers to the questions because I had been bored and I'd already read all the textbooks. By like 3 weeks in, I'd already scanned everything, the history book for the semester, the science book, the English book, like everything. I'd already read all of it, and I'd read outside of class because I was bored, so I already learned it all. And I'm not saying I'm smart because I'm smart. I'm saying that I got smart because I was bored. And so I went out and... because you're immersed in school and books and stuff. My parents always had books around. I went and read things. So I know, people are always amazed how much useless crap I know. It's just because I was bored, not because I'm smart. I was a bucket ready to be filled of all kinds of crap. But anyway, they were saying, this woman was saying, and that's why, I started podcasting, because I needed something to do with my time, and I love it. And that's why I listen to podcasts and audiobooks all the time while doing stuff. Is because I need the stimulation, apparently. And, or else I just want to kill myself, Not literally. I have a good, happy personality. But, you know what I'm saying? I get bored really easily. And, I wasn't to the extreme where I was a discipline problem too much, where I couldn't sit still in my seat. I would sit still in my seat because I'm a good kid, and I had that much discipline. But man, my mind was everywhere else but wherever, because I'd already thought I already had it all figured out, which is an inside joke. Okay, so this woman is talking about how she plays, what's that? Candy Crush, for example, or maybe Tetris, but I think Candy Crush on her phone in meetings, and. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. And she said, Leo Laporte said, boy, I bet you that pisses people off in the meeting. And she said, well, sometimes. But I tell them, and people, she's a bigwig at her company, so people leave her alone because she's already proven herself. And she said she tells people that if she's not doing something with her hands and her mind kind of in the periphery, then the thing she's supposed to be focusing on, she can't focus on it because it's not stimulating enough. She's deformed and needs a little bit extra stimulation. And it's just enough. That game is just enough in the background to keep her stimulated. Keep her brain stimulated enough for her brain to be awake, for her to pay attention to the important meeting. And they were theorizing, wow, I bet a lot of people in the computer industry, the technology industry, are like this. It tends to attract people that are fidgety and smart and need to figure things out and constantly have their attention grabbed and things like that. And again, I said not smart because you're smart, but smart because you've just filled your head because you're bored. And I got a really good example for you. They would give a test in class on the material, and I would get like an A, like a 95 or 100. They would, on the homework, I'd bring it back. I wouldn't do it because I'd get home and then I'd get distracted and go off and do things, and so I'd get zeros on a lot of homework or partial on a lot of homework because I'd get distracted and go do other stuff. And so a lot of my averages in classes were B's and C's. C's were really sad, and but I tested really high. And it's like, well, I've already learned it all. They're like, I want you to do your homework. I'm like, what homework? There was homework? Because I'm daydreaming about what I'm going to do with my life, or something like that. Anyway, so that's what I mean. Okay, so this light that illuminates the room, somebody can say something or tell you something, or you can overhear something or see something that changes your perspective on things, and then all of a sudden makes everything completely different. It's happened to me many times in life. So I was listening to this, and I was going, oh, so it's this person is successful, and she does something that you would normally associate with being a waste of time, but actually she's doing it to leverage her brain, to excite her brain, and it's actually a really productive thing. I encourage people to go listen to this podcast. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. And I noticed that what it did to me, it's been slowly creeping in. I've been thinking about it. Where's my podcast list? And it's This Week in Tech, TWIT is what they call it, This Week in Tech, 468, Surfing the Apocalypse. And I'm like, hey, the Zen saying is to climb a mountain, start at the top of the mountain. Basically, envision success. What works, And I'm like, hey, if being distracted, this is where I'm at right now. Pay attention to being mildly distracted with stuff, and if it keeps you energized, then use it. It's okay, If a little bit of web surfing here and a little bit of that there, a little bit that keeps you happy and keeps you moving forward and helps you monitor the big stuff. Are you getting the big stuff done? If you do a little bit of this stuff to distract you and keeps you happy, if so, then keep doing it. It's okay. The light has been shown that it's possible that it's actually okay, and quit fighting it and start using it. A surfing analogy is you don't fight the current, you use the current. All right? There's a rip current usually every few hundred yards on a beach. You use that to suck you out into the water so you don't have to fight the waves so bad to get out. Then you paddle sideways a little bit and then surf the waves in and then walk down the beach or whatever, however you get to the rip current, and then ride the rip current back out again. And then go sideways and then ride the waves back in to surf. Do not try to paddle out right into the waves. So you use
what you would normally think to be a bad thing, you use it for you. People are like, rip currents, oh no, stay away. No, man, in surfing, you use them big time to get out. There's some awesome ones on the jetty seawall. Okay, so let's get back to the run. Thank you for joining me on my little run. And I ended up doing 7.4 miles at 7 miles per hour, which was about an 8:40 pace. And yeah, that Hornet Juice turned my run around. That was nice. Hornet Juice on the right side of the webpage. Oh wait, let me tell you why. So at about 35 minutes in, I felt great. And it was that Hornet Juice kicking in. And so then I started doing pulses of medium hard, like just slightly above race pace, so where it's like slightly uncomfortable, and on the uphills, and then jogged easy on the downhills. I ended up having a nice fast run and dosing myself with a little stimulation to make me faster. So that was pretty cool. Not an hour run, ended up being an hour and 4. And Kona's back here, nice and happy. How you doing, bro? Cool, man. All right, so tomorrow morning we've got a bike ride scheduled. Depending on the daylight situation, I'll have to look at sunrise on my phone and on the weather app. And if the sun is not up by 6, not forecasted, but it either will be or it won't. If it's not up by 6, I'm going to ride indoors on the trainer. And most likely do, depending on how I feel, do little doses of sweet spot intervals. And I'll catch you then. All right, out, bang. Something that I should mention, I was thinking about this while I was running. I've known this for a couple years now, I think. But there was a survey of people that, I think it was maybe Kona qualifiers, but successful Ironman. And how many miles per week of what, right? And you got to remember, you got to factor in hills and terrain and stuff like that, so it really depends. But anyway, running, good Ironman racers run on average 50, that's 50 miles per week. And I think they bike about 300. And then I think 4 times 3, 12,000 yards. Something like that. So if you're targeting, when I'm out running, I'm like, man, I'm up to where I run about 50 miles a week. Once I get into full Ironman training, and that's nice. So that's like about an hour a day, most days, and then 2 hours one day a week. So kind of a longer run. That's about it. So depends on your speed, but that's the rule. So I thought I'd leave you with that. Think about that. You want to do Ironmans? Are you running 50 miles a week? It's about an hour a day. About an hour and 15 minutes a day. That's it. 50 miles a week. Mix in some hard in there to improve you, and then you're done. All right, out, bang. Oh, man, I'm full of good ideas tonight. Just go with it, man. It's still the same. It hasn't been 30 seconds since I hung up, is the way I'll phrase it. I was talking earlier about your attitude and your perception and your personality, which is a decision and an opinion that you form about yourself, and you can change it at any time, and you can be the right thing at the right time, even different things at different times. Where this really comes in handy, and actually this might be the most important part of it, it's basically how you see yourself. So, like people that have a lot of self-respect don't do stupid shit. People that don't have a lot of self-respect, do stupid crap, things like that. Well, why? And what's going on is you have an image of yourself, an opinion of yourself, like I said, that you can create, a definition of yourself. And a lot of times it doesn't make any difference. You're just, watching TV or going for a jog or, eating lunch or something like that. But where it does actually come in handy and where the rubber meets the road with this is when you have to make a decision on things. And you're making decisions all the time and you don't actually realize it. So I was sitting here I hung up on the mic and I'm uploading my workout to Moves Count, which is Sunto's thing. And then I'm like, well, what am I going to do now? Because I got time before I go to bed. And you know what came to mind, which was really interesting? Because I've been listening to all the productivity stuff and all the self-improvement audiobooks, is you're a productive person. Do something productive. Do something constructive. Do something that moves ZenTri forward. Do something that moves your work forward. Do something to clean up the house. And that's instead of making a bad choice. It's lazy. So it also comes in like if you view yourself, if you create the opinion or surround yourself with people that eat healthy, the choice. You have a choice in what you eat. Every minute of every day, you're like, do I eat this or do I eat that? And it's like, well, if you've convinced yourself through habit and by surrounding yourself by audiobooks and by better people that eat like healthy or whatever, well, you're like, well, on my way home, I didn't have much choice. I had to grab something to eat on the way home. So I went to Subway and I got a turkey sandwich loaded with veggies. Loaded, and it's because I have created an identity with myself that I eat that way, And that's a choice that I ate that instead of Burger King or Whataburger or whatever. And everything's a choice. The choice that I'm drinking a beer instead of drinking a soda water. The choice of how I'm spending my hour before I go to bed. What I'm doing. Am I coaching or am I surfing slow twitch threads? Right. Well, if I'm a productive person, then if I've convinced myself I'm a productive person and it's a habit, then I look on my to-do list of things to do and I just pick something off and I do it. I don't even think about it. The point is I have a choice, and if you define yourself as a certain type of person, the choice is already made. It's like super easy. You don't even think about it, right? Because it's all these choices you have to make all day long, where this self-definition, this self-respect, this who you are, makes the choices for you a whole lot more than you'd think. So I just thought it was funny that I was sitting here going, what am I going to do next? And because I've been listening to productivity crap for like 3 days, the voice inside my head says, hey, do some productive crap. It's like, okay, cool, because I've been doing it because of the audiobooks and the habit's there, and it's nice. And it feels good. So that's it, Al Bing. All right, I'm on the trainer. I got a little break between intervals. I decided to do sweet spot training this morning because I'm upping my volume. So I'm going to move away from the intensity of pure polarized. And sweet spot is just a little bit faster than threshold or even under threshold. Well, I'm going to switch out bandanas, headbands. And you dose yourself with it. And I'm doing higher cadence than I'm used to. So like in the low 90s. So I'm dosing myself around 3 minutes at a time. I'm about halfway through for an hour ride. So dose, higher cadence, higher watts around threshold. And then about an equal amount of time easy, which I'm doing right now. And I'm watching the Ironman Cabo coverage from 2013, 2014. I'd have to look to see. It's pretty good. And I'm drinking, for fuel, a 50-50 bottle of fruit juice and ice water, which is a tip I learned from Angela and Nate. I got an interval coming up, so I'm going to plug my headphones back in, listen to some Black Sabbath while I'm watching videos. Out. All right, a little workout review there. So, again, I'm driving to work right now. Again, I'm having a little bit of brain fart because I got off the bike and I'm drinking ice water to try to cool down, and or else the shower won't take, you know what I mean? You get out of the shower and you're still sweating, that's kind of ruins the point of the shower. But anyway, I'm in the kitchen drinking ice water and kind of figuring out what I'm going to take with me to work to eat. And Emily says, go outside and save this giant toad that's outside because the dogs are messing with it and they want to go outside. And I'm like, those dogs go outside. You sit there and open and close the door for those dogs 500 times a morning. They've been outside enough already. They don't need to go outside again. They can wait a few minutes. Oh, and my mother-in-law, Emily's mom, is over at our house staying the night and doing stuff for family in town. And so I'm trying to ride the trainer without waking her up. And you know what? You can't. Little house, big dreams, man. You know, there's literally nothing I can do. It's the sounds that get made in a house. And on one side of me, part of me, you know, is like more people need to be exposed to other people getting up early and getting stuff done and exercising. People that need to exercise can endure a little bit of that. It's okay. Anyway, so I go outside with a shovel to go rescue this giant toad that's in the backyard, and it was funny. I tossed him into the lawn behind us because they don't have any dogs over there. But anyway, you got to be careful with intensity because if you're increasing volume, you got to back off the intensity. And what's cool about doing the way I did the sweet spot, which is not as intense. It's not as intense. Google it, sweet spot training. It's pretty cool. Basically, the way it works with intensity is you need some intensity over your established ability to. You need to challenge yourself to make yourself better. So there's 3 ways to do it. Let's say you can go longer than what you're normally used to, and that'll challenge you. And towards the end, I coached somebody that said, "Oh, the last 500 yards of that swim, that was hard." And I said, and it was just a long, easy swim. And I said, "Cool, that's perfect." You went easy, but you went longer than you're used to, and that made you better, you know. And then you can go hard, but then you need lots of rest in between. And then another way to do it is to go kind of medium hard, just a little bit, and not as much rest. So I was doing 3 minutes on, kind of medium hard, and 3 minutes easy to recover. And what's cool about the medium hard, the sweet spot stuff, there's that same cyclist again. You go, dude. Nice beard. The cool thing about the medium hard, and if you're using a power meter that's got cadence in it, and there's other ways to do this, but let's go with the power meter example. So I'm looking at my power meter number, and it's saying for me around like 260, 270, 280 is nice. That's around my threshold. And it's reading my cadence, right? So it's like, let's say it's saying 270. And after I downloaded my workout, I looked at it, and the average for whenever I was going medium hard was 270. So let's say it's 270, and my cadence at the same time is like 93, 94, and I'm like, this is what Brett needs, you know, because I'm more of a low cadence guy, and I'm giving up power. I'm giving up speed by not working on a higher cadence. So while I'm working on my medium hard, I'm doing a little bit higher cadence to kind of challenge myself, you know? So these little doses of challenge, just a little bit harder than what you're capable of, is nice. It's good stuff. And then another thing that's useful is upload your workout, upload your workout, and make a comment in it ASAP. I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me and to people I coach where they're like, "Oh, I lost all my workouts for a week." And I'm like, "How in the world did you do that?" They're like, "Well, I didn't upload them for a week." Now they're all sitting there on the device, And then the device, crashes out, messes up, won't upload Garmin, and has all kinds of problems, and they've lost everything. And man, that sucks. And then the other thing is, if you wait too long to make a comment, to upload and then comment on your workout, you forgot exactly what happened and why you did what you did, and then it's kind of useless that you logged it, because what's the point? You don't really know, what worked and what didn't work. So my method that works really well for me is I download the workout, and then I copy the hyperlink to it, and then I tweet it. And then I take the tweet that describes the workout, what I did, and I use that, I copy that back into the comment line of my workout. So this morning it said something like, hour ride on the trainer, alternating three minutes easy, 3 minutes sweet spot, kind of medium hard. Nice ride, right? So I tweeted that, and then I copied that and put it back into the workout comments, because that's perfect, right? With Twitter, you're limited to 140 characters, so you have to be quick and summarize and get it done and move on. You don't think about it too much. You don't need to write a novel about the thing. And that's also a tip for, I've really been wanting to journal so that I can have something to pass down to Kai and whoever. And I've figured out, I've read this tip with journaling is put it in a safe place, so Google Docs. I think I talked about this earlier. That's where I feel is a safe place. And then the next thing is write less than what you think. And it's to write less than what you think you need to, and then that way you'll do it, and it's easy, and then you'll keep doing it. And I think that's really interesting, because I think that's a really good way to start any habit. Do less than what you think you want to do. So like, let's say that you're wanting to start to run. So do less than what you think you want to do, and then it makes getting over the hump of starting the habit easy. So that's for any kind of habit, right? You want to check your email first thing in the morning and make tasks out of them. Well, only commit to just barely doing it and half-assing your way through it. And then after a while, it gets to be a habit. And then the next thing you're doing a good job of it. How about that? Oh, I'm late to work. Okay, I got to go. Out, bang. All right. Hey, can y'all hear me? Okay, we're going to go hands-free for a second, so it's not going to sound that great. While we make a green smoothie. And hopefully this will motivate you to make your own. And so we got carrots and kale. I did spinach, and I'm going to go back to kale for a little bit because I want to. Oh my God, we got way too many old carrots in here. And then Odwalla Superfood for a little bit of sweetener in there. You could use apple juice, But Odwalla Superfood's already a green juice. And a banana. Where's that banana? Got a banana that's starting to get speckled with the brown spots. That's going to be perfect. Okay, this is what we do. First, you buy a $500 blender. Second of all, you make sure it's turned off before you plug it in. Okay, and then so we got a Vitamix blender here, and we pluck off some kale. Kale is super cheap, and what do y'all think of the stuff where they say they've been saying that organic is no better actually nutritionally than not? I'm not sure about that. I think it's a conspiracy. So I got 2 leaves of kale in my hand, and I'm going to pluck off the bottom 2-3 inches of stalk before the leaves start, and they're crunchy. and I give him the Kona, and he chews them up. Would you like it? Chew it up. Chew it. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Lick it. Chew it. I know you like kale. He likes the kale stalks. So, oh my gosh, this kale's so good. It's like hard. It's hard to tear it up. So tear it up into pieces. Right? Just tear it up. Put it in the blender. 2 big leaves of kale. That's a lot. Okay? And then I'm going to peel this banana in here. Oh my gosh, the banana's starting to fall apart. Oh, it's so ripe. It's so good. And then, should I leave it out on the counter, make Emily mad? That way she's at least thinking about me. Negative attention's better than no attention. And then, so the banana's in there. Oh, there's a carrot. I know, Kona doesn't like carrots. Do you like carrots? Try that carrot. Tell me what you think. Oh, he's eating the carrot. Kona's our big black lab. Okay. Oh, and these carrots are starting to get slimy. They've been in the bag, so I'm going to rinse them off. What do you say, some carrots? Okay, oh, we got more good stuff, by the way, coming. So, we start with that. Add a little bit of water. And shake up the green juice. Good dose of green juice. I don't know, 1/4 of a cup, something like that. I eyeball everything. That way nothing ever tastes the same. You never know what you're going to get. I'm going to hit the blender once to kind of blend this stuff down, and then we're going to add some even more stuff. Chia powder and hemp powder. It's going to be good. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the blender. Wake up the neighbors. Oh, come on. Yeah. So turbo mode. Okay, let's do this. Let's put it on low. Oh, it smells horrible. That's how you know it's good for you. Okay. Gonna get a long spoon, a teaspoon. No, iced teaspoon. What is it called? A long spoon. It's called something else besides what I'm calling it. I'm gonna put in some hemp powder. I'm gonna pour it in while it's blending. Oh, it's so nasty. And then I'm eating this because I ate some lasagna leftovers for lunch. I got to counteract the nasty of the bad for you with some good for you. Oh, and chia seed powder. Put that in it. Oh, it's making the smoothie. It's making the blender work now. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, and whoa. Let me taste it. Oh, it's good. For a green smoothie, it's good. Okay. Now I start putting stuff back in the fridge, and I start thinking, what am I going to put this in? Oh, an insulated thermos, water bottle, over ice. And that should do the trick. How about that? Where'd it go? I've got one of these Polar, got, and let's see who's calling. Maybe I'll answer it. Unavailable. 1-800 number. Good luck, dude. Have fun with all that. And then, all right, we're going to pour this in to this bottle. It's a Polar bottle, 24-ounce Polar bottle. Gonna pour it in. Oh, it looks happy. Oh, it's so happy. Look at it. Oh, it's nasty. Now, I use the sprayer, whatever that's called, the water pick in the kitchen, over the kitchen sink, which always gets stuck. Okay. Spray the inside of the Vitamix blender container thing to get the rest of it out. Now I'm going to rinse it out, and I'm going to put ice in here. Oh, what do you say? Let's put in ice cubes. 1, 2. I'm going to fill it all the way to the top. I'm using my finger to push the stuff in. Push it in. Let the fun begin. That's something. It's a sin. And put the lid on. And then shake. Oh, man. Shaking it like a Polaroid. And here we go. Done. What was that, like 5 minutes? It's good. Now, I'll put the rest of the stuff away. I'll put the banana peel in the trash. I'm going to make Emily mad. Okay. And done. It's that easy. And so when you go grocery store shopping, you just get kale, carrots, and bananas. And they sell hemp powder. Hemp powder and chia seed powder lasts forever. You know, you buy a little baggie of that, and it'll last a long time. And I put the Vitamix blender thing, which is rinsed out, because it didn't sit. You don't need to wash it, I've learned. And rinse out the lid. Put it back on top of the blender. Open air for it to dry out on its own. That's it. That's how you make a green smoothie. How about that? All right, it's in the evening. We're going to listen to me get my dog motivated for a run. Come on, are we going to run? Are we going to run? What are we going to do? Are we going to run? Are we going to run? Don't jump. Don't. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we going to run? Where are we going? Where are we going? Ow! Sit. Speak. What are we? Where's your collar? Where's your running collar? Oh, do you lay on your back? We can't go if you're on your back. We can't go. Oh no, here comes another dog. You don't want her to run. It's just you and me. It's just you and me. We're gonna go. Are you ready, boy? Are you ready? Sit. Oh no, don't talk back. Sit. How far are we gonna run? Bark, how many miles? Yeah, that's right, 2 miles. 2 miles. Good job. Okay, all right, you ready to go? All right, let's go. All right, man, that was a really good run. I got things to tell you. My quads from my bike ride this morning were talking back to me just a little bit. They felt a little bit weak. So I used something that didn't feel weak. So I used high cadence, just better gearing, little gears. And pushed off more with the bottom of my forefoot and back, like pushing back, and used my calf a little bit more. And I ended up running faster than I did yesterday. And yesterday had intervals in it. So an 8:35 pace. And then also there's something to, really wanted to mention this. There's something to doing the same run course and same bike course over and over and over again, right? So I've got this run course that's about 7 miles and like almost on the dot. And I can do things, if I know that I'm going to run it every day, I'm in it for the long haul. So when Keith Burtis decided he was going to bike every day of the Tour de France and try to bike the same amount of time that it took them to do their stage on average, say it's like 3 hours or 2 hours or 4 hours, or he's going to try to bike that every day. At first you try too hard and then you get tired, and then what do? You learn how to hold back a little bit and then up your cadence, so it's not so much force, it's just a higher spin rate, which is easier, and it makes you better. And 2 weeks in, guess what happens? It gets easier. It's hard at first, and then you're sore, so it's even harder. And then once you figure out how to do the course, it gets easier and easier and easier. So let's say you had a 7-mile run course that you ran every day, right? So 7 times 7, it's 49. It's almost 50 miles a week. There's your Ironman right there. And as you run it, you get better and better and better at it, and you learn what works and what doesn't. And because you're in it for the long haul, you don't go too hard, because the end goal, there is no end goal. It's just to do it every day, and then you get better at it. So there's that. And then I was listening to this really cool audiobook. Let me download the numbers off my watch. So 7 miles at an 8:35 pace. After 2 miles, I dropped off Kona, as he told you earlier, just a 2-mile run. And I was running MAF, which is like maximum aerobic function, and that is run as fast as you can, but below like really huffing for air and below straining your muscles. And higher cadence really helps with that. And so that's nice. And that's an 8:35 with, man, I used to be good to do a 10.5 minute mile. Hey, man, if you're slow, or you feel like you're slow, believe me, that's only temporary. My first half Ironman took me like 6.5 hours or some crap like that. It was a disaster. And now I'm sub 5, and people call me a really fast half Ironman guy. Believe me, I didn't used to be. It took me a long time, like 5-6 years, to get any good at all, to not be embarrassing myself compared to what I wanted to be in a half Ironman. Okay, so I'm listening to this audiobook. It's called Mini Habits, M-I-N-I. It's got a picture of a butterfly on the front. Let me pull it up just to be sure. And let me go look. Make sure I got the right thing, because I want to make it nice and clear, because this is good. Yeah, Mini Habits, M-I-N-I, Habits. And there was something really cool in it. No, I lost you. Okay. Motivation is not, it's a mistake to feel like you need to want to do something to do it, right? Motivation, you have to disconnect motivation and willpower from getting stuff done, because they're not connected. And to prove what I mean, let's say somebody's addicted to smoking, right? Well, you can be somebody that wants to smoke, right? You can be somebody that doesn't want to smoke and still smoke. So your willpower and your motivation is to not smoke. But guess what? You still smoke, right? Even though you don't want to anymore. They're not connected. And check this out. Oh my. Hold on. I don't know what to do now. How do I turn this off? Oh, there's a kid on a bicycle looking for Kai. He's gone. Okay, then think about this. You can be somebody, you can want to not want to smoke and still smoke. You'd be like 3 times removed and still do the thing. It's like motivation squared, and it still isn't related to whether or not you're going to do it. The habit is actually stronger than your motivation, right? So you get started doing something just by little bits at a time, then you physically become a different person, because the more often you do something, this is crazy, this is so good, the neural pathways that you use to get it done, right, actually physically become thicker, right? The more you use them, the thicker nerves get that do that thing. So let's say you play a riff on a guitar over and over and over again, or you just say play guitar every day. The nerves that run from your brain to your left hand to do the fingering on the fretboard actually become thicker and better developed, right? Now, this is so cool. Impulses that run your body, everything that controls everything is electricity, nerves. That's why you can shock your hand and it contracts your muscles and seizes your muscles up. That's electricity. So your brain sends an electric impulse down nerves to get things done. So electricity, this is crazy. Electricity follows the path of least resistance. The more developed the pathway is to get something done, the more likely, the less resistance it has to getting done, right? So if you want to manually override that, you have to work around the path of least resistance. You have to shuttle electrons where they don't want to go, which is very, very difficult, and that's why it's hard to break a habit. That is so cool. So, now take it one step further. Thinking, remember I said earlier, you can change your personality with time. You can be who you want to be. Well, thinking, believing, in Zen, there's a common saying, you don't have to believe your thoughts, right? So you can say, oh my gosh, this terrible thing's going to happen. Actually, in real life, we got something going on that's kind of scary. Okay, I'm not going to go into it because it's personal stuff. But it hasn't happened yet, right? And so Emily's all worried about it, and I said, one thing is we definitely can't do anything about it. And I said, but there's nothing we can do about it. Don't sit around worrying about worst case scenarios that haven't happened yet. Mark Twain said the worst things in my life are things that never happened, and they're fears, right? So you can choose to believe in your fears and let them consume you all day long, or you can realize that they're fictional. They may happen, but they may not, and then go ahead and get on with your life and be a more stable and productive person and have a happier life because you're not afraid all the time. People that are afraid, there's people that are just consumed with, in politics, about the other party. If the other party gets power, it's going to happen, And they spend all day clutching their guns or whatever they clutch, and they're consumed in a world of fear, and you just want to drag them out of their cave and go, come on, look, the world's beautiful outside. Come on, let's go do stuff. There's that famous movie where if you want to feel better about life, go to an airport terminal and watch people getting off flights and meeting their families and how happy everybody is. And then you turn on TV and there's all this fear and war and all that other stuff. And go down to your local coffee shop and say, okay, are people actually fighting and conflicting with each other all the time? Is that the natural state? No, that's isolated stuff in places, but it's not the entire thing. So you don't have to believe your fears, and you don't have to believe what you think you feel. And so one of these things is motivation. You don't have to believe that you have to be motivated to do something. Right? Of course, it's easier to be motivated to do something, but you can override the belief. Check this out. This is the hinge. I'm always saying that, the hinge pin. This is the hinge pin. Okay, you can spend forever fighting against your motivation and spend forever, trying to do some things when you don't want to, right, and be miserable. And that's like 500 different things that you're fighting against. Or you can choose to change one habit, and the one habit to work on, and over time you can get this is the habit, you can get this neural pathway to be thicker, and it's the one where you believe that you have to want to do something to do it. Imagine if you changed that one thing. Your prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that has the logical part, that thinks way ahead of time and makes the good long-term decisions. And I forgot to lower down in your brain towards the spine is the part that's more reactionary and stuff. And if you start to work on the habit of saying, I'm going to do this. Not only, how about this one? Here's a great habit. When you recognize that you need to do something and you don't want to do it, then that's a trigger for you to especially do it. To be like, this, I don't want to do this, but it's something that I need to do, so I attack it first, right? And get it done, right? So paying your house payment on time, or washing your car and putting a coat of wax on it, right? You don't want to do it, but you need to do it. And identifying those two things, and then going, okay, well, that's the first thing I'm going to do, right? Because that'll make me a better person. What if you made that a habit, right? I can tell you, I've worked on for a few years a habit, and I heard this someplace, was the that you don't want to do is the thing you need to do the most. Is usually the thing you do the most. And this is like, say, like office politics, and somebody needs to be talked to or let go, or you don't want to make this one decision because it's a difficult one, or you don't want to bring this up to your boss that something happened. Once you realize it's something that you really don't want to do, it's probably something that you need to do the most, and will build your character and make you a better person and get you more respect. The things that make you uncomfortable are the things that maybe might you can evaluate it and judge if it's right or not. But isn't that cool? Man. Okay. So anyways, I'm all amped after my run. I'm going to upload my workout, and I'm going to try to build this habit. Check this out. To process Hornet Juice orders while my workout uploads. And all you got to do is just open it up, right? I have emails that are flagged as Hornet Juice orders, and then the mini habit is just open it up, right? And then once it's open, and now you're sitting there waiting for your Hornet Juice order, or for your workout to upload. Well, it's easier just to process Hornet Juice orders than to pick your nose. You already opened it up. You're kind of curious now. Let's see who some of these people are and where they're from. How about that? It's a good habit. All right, that's it. I got to go. Out, bang. All right, let's go to work. Oh, I'm a little late. W to the ERK has hit the Twitter nets, people. Hashtag WERK. Listen, people ask, why do I call it W to the ERK? And it's to give you a little bit of ownership over your job. If you give it a silly name, then you don't take it so seriously, and now you're in control of it. This audiobook, I just happened just this second to turn off the audiobook Mini Habits, and he's talking about how people hate being out of control, like somebody else is in control of them. They love feeling autonomy, so you can create the illusion that you're in control by giving your job a funny name, and even I guess behind your boss's back, having a funny name for him and stuff like that. And it's all an illusion, and all a game to make you feel like you're more in control. And survey says if you have a job where you don't feel like you're in control of anything, then interesting car, a BMW 435. Then you're miserable at your job, and all you got to do is have a little bit of feeling of being in control of it, and it ends up working for you. Okay, so I've had people on Twitter start messaging me, tweeting at me that they're on their way to, or just completed a day at W to the ERK. Hey, hashtag that. Hashtag WERK. That's kind of funny. I had a breakthrough bike and a breakthrough run this morning, and I want to tell you about it. How you know? And on top of that, while I wait for these cars, hold on. You got to hear this. Hear this? That is carbonated water from a soda stream. Hold on. I got to turn. But it's not just carbonated water from the soda stream. It's carbonated water from the soda stream with matcha powder put in it. Oh my God. All right, I'm coming back. Hold on. Matcha powder is ground up green tea leaves. And you can order it on Amazon. Get it. Make your carbonated water from a soda stream. And then, I guess you could sweeten it with stevia or whatever. But green tea, turns out it's good for your teeth, man. So try to counteract all this crap you do to your teeth by working out and eating stuff. Eating carbs to have good workouts. by sipping on green tea, and it made me think of Uncle Si on Duck Dynasty. How he's always walking around with a thing of green tea, or no, he's always walking around with a thing of tea, right? So if he can do it, you can do it. But instead of doing probably sweet tea, which he has, and look at his teeth, you do green tea, unsweetened, matcha powder, right? It's good for your teeth, and it's carbonated, man. Oh, whoever dreamed of carbonated green tea, that a day would come where you could have that in a big container of it and just walk around with it. Well, it's here, people. It's here. I'm here to make you believe in yourself. Okay, so I'm on the bike last night, and I'm amped. I had too much caffeine, so I'm like really excited, and I'm dancing around and annoying Emily. She's trying to watch Beyond the Pines or something with Ryan Gosling's abs in it, and I'm like dancing in front of the TV to annoy her in my cycling shorts, which nobody needs to see, even your own wife. And yeah, she's like, go away, get on the bike. So I get on the bike, and I do intervals. I did 7 total. I think the first 3 or 4 I did trying to do about 5 minutes at a time, and then going super easy to recover, and then 5 minutes at a time. Not too hard. And then I was like, man, I'm going to do the rest of them hard, like, and not the whole thing hard, but like slowly increasing effort and resistance until it burns and you fail, right? Like lifting a weight, doing sets, doing reps. I mean, it's like if you're doing curls or bench press or squats or something like that. You know, you do them until it burns so bad that you run out of gas, and then you got to stop. And that's what I started doing that, right? So I actually like that, man. When I was going to bed at night, my legs were talking back to me, like my quads, and just my legs entirely from butt to toe were going, hey, Brett, that was awesome. Thank you. I love you. That was so good. Thank you so much. Oh, the lady next to me smoking a cigarette in her car. And I was like, hey, man, it's my honor to make you work so hard. And then I fell asleep listening to an interview with Jody Swallow talking about women's triathlon. Oh, what was it on? Anyway, she tweeted it, so you can find it. And it's like a 13-minute long interview. And, man, when Jody Swallow retires, she mentioned something about wanting to have a family someday with kids. Watch out, James. She's going to have your baby. That when this individual, Jody Swallow, retires from the sport, she needs to run. She won't be happy unless she's running some kind of organization that changes the world, you know, like some kind of environmental or something for kids or something for hunger or something like that. Or something for sport. Like, holy crap, man. She is a spokesperson and a person that gets shit done, man. If I had an organization like the Sierra Club or WWF, World Wildlife Foundation or something, yeah, like that, I would create a position and put her in it. Because she is badass. Okay, so I fell asleep listening to that. And then I woke up a little bit early, and I'm like, that's weird. And my legs were like, hey, Brett, that was really fun last night. And even though that hurt, we want more. And I was like, okay, we can arrange that. And, and on the intervals, I was peaking out at 350 watts or something like that, right? And so that's good. And then this morning on the run, I took Kona, and we did 20 minutes with Kona because it's summer and it's kind of warm. So same route, it's a 7-mile route. And then on the dropped him off, and then kept running with a little bit of uphill. A little bit of work on the uphills after a while. I was like, okay, when you encounter an incline, and around where I run, it's not much, but there are a couple. There's a few percent grades kind of here and there, but they're real short. When you encounter those, work those hard, and then on the downside, cruise them, and that'll be kind of like light interval work. But don't make a big deal out of it, And this is only after being like 30 minutes into the thing. And check this out. I did some calculations yesterday. There's a really cool QT2 Systems has a really cool calculator where you can put in your numbers and how much you train or how much you think you could, and then it'll show you your results in an Ironman or whatever kind of race. And I've known about this for years, man. This thing's really cool. And yesterday I was plugging in numbers, and actually I have an easily Kona qualifying swim, like very easily Kona qualifying swim, a Kona qualifying bike ride, depending on the course. My numbers are pretty good, and it all comes down to the run for me. If I have a crappy run, I'm out of the game, and if I have a great run, I'm totally in the game to Kona qualify, right? So it's pretty cool. I can do a sub 10 Ironman, no problem, Ironman Texas, if I could actually run like I think I could run. And but basically it's saying, Brett, you got to run like a 7:46 or something like that run. And I think, and it's like, ouch, man. But then on the run this morning, when I uploaded it, I had actually, over the past few days, I've been improving my run in spite of doing intervals on the bike. That's the big thing. I did intervals on the bike last night and still ran this morning. I ran an 8:05 average, and the second half of the run was a 7:44, right? And I was like, holy crap. Okay, you just got to do that for a marathon after biking 112 miles, and you're going to qualify, no problem. Which is making me laugh, obviously. But what's so cool is to have numbers, right? That are like, and I learned this from Mike Ritchie from D3 Multisport Coaching, is look at your average run pace over all your training over the past like 6 months. That's probably what you'll average on the Ironman run. If you get your nutrition right and everything. So basically what you ought to do is be looking at your average run from your fast days and your slow days and your off days and your on days, your hilly days and your flat days. That average pace is probably, that's what you should expect if you have a good run on in an Ironman. It'll probably be right around that pace, So if you're averaging a 9.5 minute mile in most of your runs, don't expect you to run an 8 something. It's not going to happen. It's pretty cool. So you need to get your average pace up. Think about that. If you want to run a 7:50 in the Iron, if you need to run a 7:50 in the Ironman marathon, well, you need to be running a 7:50 as your just average, just cruising pace. On average most of the time. Pretty cool, huh? All right, I got to go into W to the ERK. Out. Come on, turn off. I got things to do. Where'd you go? Oh, crap. Come on. No, wrong thing. Wrong thing. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, my God. I'm never going to get out of this. Where'd it go? And stop. There you go. All right. I think this is it. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this show. I'm wandering around the house. If I get interrupted, Emily's on a rampage cleaning the garage, and she keeps chasing me down and asking me about stuff. But what she did find is something really cool. A couple of months ago, maybe longer, our iPad mini came up missing. I don't know how you say came up because it's gone. But it came up missing, and that was, a huge blow to me because they're expensive. I've really liked using it. I didn't know where I lost it. I thought maybe somebody had stolen it or something, or I sent an email out at work asking if anybody had seen the thing, and nothing. And so I used the my Zen training, came in handy, and it's like I did as much as I could. There was nothing I could do about it. Let it go, and you just never know. Sometimes things turn up, So just, the feeling of it being gone, let that happen. You should feel sad and remorse and frustration, but don't let it ruin the things you do day to day, and keep on living life and enjoying what you can, and don't get too torn up about it, and just deal with it, and do as much as you can, and then when you can't do anything else, just go on with life, right? So I just went on with life and said, maybe it'll turn up, and if it turns up, it's nice, and if it never turns up, well, I don't know, But what I did do was, it had been too long, because the battery had already died, but by the time I thought of it, I said, I ought to do that, find my phone, and this is some cool tech stuff that y'all ought to know. You can do Find Your Phone now on iPads and things like that. And so I went to the Apple iCloud thing, and I tried to track it. Couldn't find it. It said the battery was already dead, so it had been turned off or something like that. And so this is cool. I said, it had some options. Do you want to turn to, it's something, because I don't remember now, because this is like a couple months ago, where it alerts you if it comes back online and connects to a Wi-Fi or to a network or something like that. And I said yes. And then it said, do you want to make it ping alert, make an alarm if it's found, and or if it turns on? Then I said yes. And then it said, you want to leave a message on it? And I said yes. This was back in the day, right? This is back when I lost it. And then it said, do you want to have a security code on it so people can't use it unless they type in the security code? And then I said yes. And it goes, okay. And that was a while back, right? After I'd lost it. And okay, so that's a while back. Emily finds it today while she's cleaning the garage underneath bike parts, of course. And then, so of course when she finds it, it's totally dead. So I plugged it in, and I'd forgotten about all this other stuff, right? So all I did was I just plugged it in, and I'm in the bathroom across the house, brushing my teeth, and after my workout. And as we've talked about, and all of a sudden we hear this alarm, kind of ding, 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 and I finish brushing my teeth, and I go in the living room. I go, "What is that?" And Emily comes in out of the garage, and she goes, "What is that?" Kai's like, "I have no idea." Let's go over, and it's the iPad. It finally got enough battery in it, and enough juice in the battery to turn itself on, and it was alarming. And I go over and look at it, and it says on the screen, it says, this is so me to do this. It says, this iPad was lost. Please return to me. Huge reward. And that's apparently what I'd written. And then my phone number on it. And that's really cool, And I said, okay. And then it goes, what's the passcode to get past into the front screen and start using it, right? And then I have a number that I like to use on lots of stuff, and I typed it in, and boom, it opened up. Then, on top of that, check this out. I go, well, that's pretty cool. I'm really excited about that. And then I go back into the bathroom to wash out my mouth, whatever, and I pick up my phone, and I look at it, and it has an alert on it, and my phone says, your iPad has been turned on. Alert. It's active now on the network. And I'm like, holy crap, it alerted my phone that somebody else had turned on my iPad. So anyway, that's pretty cool, man. That's some cool technology going on right there. So turn that stuff on your machines. It's really important. It's pretty cool. Okay. I need to turn that on for my MacBook Air and make sure that that's working. Okay, so I'm supposed to be, I don't know if it'll be next episode or not, I'm supposed to be interviewing Rich Roll really soon, supposed to be interviewing Morgan really soon. He might be on this show, talking with Tawny again, reading a kid's story that's going to be hilarious on the news. All kinds of good stuff. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I want you to remember that if you want to support the show, if you found anything on this episode or past episodes that really helps you out with your triathlon training or your lifestyle or your work or your productivity, and you feel like you want to give back to the show in just a small way or any way, then it's super easy. All you got to do is go over to your computer and go to ZenTriathlon.com, and on the left-hand side, there's a donation button, and you can either donate one time or any amount you want, or there's a set up a recurring donation, which is just under $4 a month, so it's like $1 an episode, or less than $1 an episode, and it just comes out of PayPal, like super, super easy. You don't even have to think about it, and it's super cool. Anytime you go into PayPal and turn it off, too. You just go to PayPal subscriptions and just say, I want to quit the subscription, because you're not listening to the show for a while or something like that. It's super easy to do, and it makes a huge difference to this podcast. And I'm super stoked to bring you this show, and it really helps me justify getting it done. And I was just talking to Texas Devin on Twitter, and he's supporting somebody at Ultraman Canada, and he said that he would support me if I do an Ultraman here in Texas. If I do a self-supported, so we might be doing that next year. Wouldn't that be cool? Ultraman. So always stuff on the horizon. Always keep stuff out there, and it keeps you motivated to keep training. Oh, and by the way, I went swimming this morning and hopped in, kind of did warm up for a little bit, and then increase effort gradually until it starts to burn, and then it starts to burn really good, and then take a break, right? And then keep swimming and work on technique, and then keep accelerating, work on technique, and then slowly over time keep accelerating and until it starts to burn, and until it really starts to burn, then take a break, right? It's just like lifting weights. Did that 4 times and ended up being about 50 minutes. And yeah, it's really, really nice. Good way to do swim workouts. Keep that in mind. If you're looking for something to do in the pool, that works really, really well. And the breaks are nice. And the hard stuff improves you. Okay, that's it. Everybody stay safe out there. Work the uphills, cruise the downhills, and keep the rubber side down. Out.